After we do the salute to the flag for the moment of silence, I would like all of us to remember our men and women who are fighting overseas, especially those who just gave their lives the last time we had a board meeting. So I will call the meeting to order for the Board of Supervisors for July 28th, 2026. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Supervisor James?
Present.
Supervisor Williams? Here. Supervisor Mashburn? Here. And Chair Brown?
Yes, I'm here. So if I could have everybody stand for the salute of the flag, please. Ready, begin. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, someday. Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please read the title for agenda item number 1 and then call for public comment?
Adopt and present a resolution and plaque of appreciation honoring Shauna Albright, Assistant Director of Probation, upon her retirement from Solano County Probation Department with 31 years of dedicated public service. I do not have any cards for item number 1, but I will check with the caller on the line to see if they are calling in for that. Callers on the line, if you wish to speak on agenda item number 1, please press *3 to raise your hand. Callers on the line, if you wish to speak on agenda item number 1, please press *3 to raise your hand. Ma'am, I do not see them raising their hand. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So ordered by a vote of 4-0.
Good morning, everyone.
Not working. Yeah, a piece fell off of it. I don't know what that is. All right.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out this morning. It is an honor to be able to be presenting this resolution to Ms. Albright for her over a quarter of a century career with Solano County.
Gotcha.
She has, for the term of her employment with Solano County, served the citizens of this county with integrity and with an incredible amount of compassion, because that's what probation officers do. They bridge that gap between the justice system and families in the community so that people can re-enter society and be successful. And she started out doing that at the line level and working with the community. And then as she progressed through the agency, she mentored the other officers to help them become successful at that, to help build an agency that was successful at that. In Solano County, we have one of the best probation departments in the state. And I'm very appreciative of all the efforts you put into making that happen, ma'am. Thank you. With that, this resolution, Shauna Albright began her distinguished career with Solano County Probation Department April 24th, 1995 as a group counselor in the juvenile detention facility. She advanced to deputy probation officer in 1998 and was promoted to senior deputy probation officer in 2000, supervising deputy probation officer in 2006, probation services manager in 2014. Deputy Director of Probation, February 25th of 2018, transitioning into the Division Chief assignment, May 29th of 2022. And finally, to the Assistant Director of Probation, serving as the Chief Deputy Probation Officer on June 9th of 2024, serving until her retirement on August 6th of 2026. Throughout her career, Ms. Albright demonstrated unwavering dedication to the community, performing her duties with professionalism, compassion, and responsibility, and consistently striving to positively impact staff, clients, families, and community partners. Ms. Albright supervised and managed the probation enforcement search team and spearheaded the complex process of bringing arming to the department to ensure officer safety through shifting caseloads created by AB 109. Ms. Albright exhibited exemplary leadership across all divisions, adult, juvenile, and institutions, improving each area she served and successfully completed the Solano County Leadership Academy in March of 2016. Ms. Albright's commitment to staff training and development is evident, having developed the Title IV e-case plan training for staff, courts, and agencies. She served as training manager, created field officer safety training, and established a department mentoring program to foster leadership and growth. Ms. Albright proved to be an outstanding administrator, responsive to staff input, advancing departmental policies for evidence-based programs, balancing officer safety, implementing core correctional practices, and modernizing staff evaluation formats. Her excellence as Chief Deputy Probation Officer benefited the entire organization and will leave a legacy through her instrumental role in establishing the Solano Thrive Center, transforming hope into resilience, inspiration, vision, and empowerment. For prevention and early intervention services, securing grant funding, and uniting county and community partners to support youth and families. Ms. Albright has performed her duties throughout her years of service as a professional, compassionate, and responsible manner. Ms. Albright consistently displayed strong commitment to the Solano County Probation Department's mission to reduce recidivism, improve community safety, and positively impact clients and their families. Now therefore be it resolved that the Solano County Board of Supervisors hereby honors and recognizes Ms. Shauna Albright for 31 years of dedicated service to the citizens of Solano County and wishes her continued success, happiness, and a well-deserved retirement.
Chair Brown, Supervisors, Dean Farah, very proud and humble Chief Probation Officer for Solano County. If my eyeballs sweat, just know that's not tears. 31 years, it's 60,000 hours, and that's if you don't do any extra time and take 2 weeks off every year. 60,000 hours is an incredible commitment that deserves honor and recognition. We often talk about when we started. Home visits were done in personal vehicles. There weren't radios or cell phones or email or PowerPoint. We didn't have those things, and we think about, oh, that's when we started. And then we talk about where we're at today, but we don't get to where we are today without individuals like Shauna Albright. We don't implement arming for officer safety. We don't push forward new assessments. We don't adopt evidence-based practices and introduce new programs without the incredible dedication and leadership that Shauna has shown throughout her career. There's another side of this. We don't start out, without the emails and the radios and the iPhones, but we also don't start out without, we start out without marriages and houses and homes and children. Garrett, Brady, I see you guys. And when you commit yourself and dedicate yourself to a career like Shauna has, along the way a lot happens that someone like Shauna continues to overcome, adapt, and be better and be present, regardless of what's gone on over that time. I can't look at her.
We can rescind what we voted on if you want.
Do I hear a motion? Throughout your career, Shauna, you've dedicated to your own personal development, regardless of what was going on in the background. You committed to the department, you showed up. I don't know anyone who is as tenacious as Shauna to try to get it right, and if you can't get it right, get it fixed. And it better be fixed quickly, or she will let you know. But I want to just personally, for me, Shauna, I'm going to be selfish here. From the time that I arrived here in 2016 in Solano County, you have been somebody that I could talk to, somebody that would give me sage advice whether I wanted to hear it or not. But more than that, you've been a trusted ally and a dear friend. Above all of that, you've been an incredible chief deputy, and I and the department are far better for having you than we ever would be if you hadn't been in the spot. So with that, thank you for everything you've done over 60,000 hours. All the meetings, all the projects, all the things in this department that have your fingerprints all over it that will last for years and years to come. With that, I wish you nothing but the best in retirement, your time with the boys, your time with family, and your time to enjoy. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Supervisor Mashburn and Board of Supervisors, for voting yes and recognizing me. I appreciate that. It is hard to believe it's been 31 years. It's amazing how quickly time goes. When I first started working at the juvenile detention facility, I'm deeply grateful that I had found my calling at probation. Beginning my career at our juvenile detention facility gave me a strong foundation and perspective that has guided and grounded me throughout the years. One of the earliest lessons I learned was the importance of teamwork. Your partners must be able to rely on you and trust you. I would not be standing here today without the many wonderful teams I've been blessed to be a part of. And I certainly wouldn't be here as the Chief Deputy Probation Officer without the support of my family, my friends, and the mentors who believed in me along the way. I remember the first time I applied for supervisor, and our superintendent, who was on the interview panel, told me she was very impressed by all the things that I've been doing as a probation officer. Apparently it wasn't that impressive because I didn't get a second interview. The next time around, I did get the second interview, but I still didn't get selected. I remember calling my mom, disappointed again, and she reminded me, as she always did, to keep trying. I was blessed to have parents who believed in me and knew the right opportunity would come. Then life took a turn, as it sometimes does. I'd already lost my dad due to cancer, but then 2 years after, my mom passed and lost her battle. Then about a year later, I got diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Yeah, I've been bald before. It's not a good look for me, but I made it work. At the same time, before anyone knew my diagnosis, I was asked to temporarily cover the placement unit as a supervisor until they can determine whether they were going to be able to keep that position. As I always tell my boys, if you're going to do something, do it to the best of your ability. So I fought cancer and beat it, and I got to stay in that supervisor position. I continued to learn and grow. I made mistakes, tried to learn from those mistakes, and always tried to do my best. Knowing my parents believed in me and being surrounded by people who supported me helped me to believe in myself. Not everyone has that. Many of our clients who come to probation arrive at some of the lowest moments in their lives. They may never have had anyone who believed in them. That is what we do at probation. We give them tools to change their lives, and we give them hope. We believe they can change. I work for the best department, not just because we change lives, but because we support each other. I have learned from so many in my probation family, and you have inspired me throughout my career. We may not always get it right the first time, and not everyone is ready to change. But that never stops us from continuing to try to make a difference. Although there are many people I would like to acknowledge, we don't have all day and you guys have other things to do. So I want to first thank Chief Vera for making me my chief deputy. Thank you for believing in me. You have been an awesome partner, a great chief, and I'm so honored that I got to be your chief deputy. I need to thank Mylyn Wells, who I met nearly 28 years ago when she left Mount Springs to become a probation officer. She has had my back through more chaos than I can even count, and I have no idea how I would have made it through without you. Thank you for my wonderful partner, Kiyoki, for keeping us fed, especially when I came home late, for making me laugh, for supporting me through the joyful and the many stressful times. To my sons, Garrett and Brady, you are my greatest purpose. Everything I've done has been with the hope of making this a better world for you. I thank God for you every day, and I love you with everything I have. And finally, thank you to the probation staff. You have an incredible, challenging job, yet you show up every day supporting each other and supporting the clients we serve. So many lives have changed because of your dedication, and many more will continue to change. You have made probation the best place to work, and I have no doubt you will continue making it the most positive impact for the people that walk through our doors. Thank you for your support, and especially thank you for all the laughter. That's all I got.
Absolutely, sir. All right, we're going to have the family and Shauna come down front, and then all of her probation folks. I don't know how we're going to make it all work and fit everybody, but we can put a whole bunch of you up here on the dais. So come on down. Everybody get in this picture. As many as we can get. We'll fit them all down here if we can. Some of y'all got to go up on the dais. I'm just saying.
Hey, guys. Hey.
Thank you again for the support.
Oh, no problem.
There's a lot of room back up there.
Did everybody have enough?
But I think we're going to set the record.
Okay, good.
It's going to be like our biggest
God,
picture
anytime,
ever.
you know that. I love doing it. Seth had a good time, too.
Oh boy, how are we gonna fit?
Short people in front.
The clerk, as soon as we're done with this picture.
Come on.
You go right over here, so be sitting right there.
We'll make it
you two.
happen.
You gotta step in here.
There's space.
There you go.
Thank you, Ruben. Get in, Ruben.
Okay.
Yeah, come closer. Yeah, that's fine. I know what she's trying. I even took a shower, so it's okay. Well, we could just eliminate you already. Well, okay, so Ann's the one that's doing it for the county because Matthew's on vacation. So, yeah.
Deservedly so.
We are up to 15 public comments. If there's
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right. Madam Clerk, if you would please read the title for agenda item number 2 and call for public comment, please.
Adopt and present a plaque of appreciation honoring Michael Wilson, project manager, upon his retirement with over 17 years of dedicated public service. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And callers, I do not have any cards. Oh, let me go ahead and take the motion. My apologies. Callers on the line, if you are looking to speak on agenda item number 2, please press *3 to raise your hand. Callers on the line, if you are looking to speak on agenda item number 2, please press *3 to raise your hand. Ma'am, I do have one caller on the line who wishes to speak on this item.
Okay.
Okay, caller with phone number ending in 84, please go ahead and press *6 and unmute yourself and state your name if you wish.
Yes, good morning. This is John McDougald, and I wanted to congratulate all of the honorees and also to thank the board for all of the wonderful work that you do. I'm actually calling today because I have a concern about something that happened last month.
Okay, this is to honor Michael Wilson. If we can come back to you
I'm
later
sorry.
for that, that's all right. That's all right.
I believe you're going to want to
sorry.
speak under public comment, under items from the public, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's okay. I saved you, Michael.
Okay, we have had a motion and a vote, so we are ready for the presentation.
So I get the honor of presenting this appreciation to Michael Wilson. And I didn't have a Hawaiian shirt to wear. I'm so sorry about that. But I did bring my brightest color, so to share this moment with you. Michael Wilson began his career in public service in 2007, serving on the Vallejo City Council, including serving as vice mayor in 2011. Drawing on his background in finance, Michael was actively involved in budget and the financial policy decisions as the city navigated labor agreements, reduced expenditures, and developed a path toward long-term sustainability. Mr. Wilson's years on the council were marked by a focus on fiscal responsibility, collaborative governance, and helping guide Vallejo from financial crisis toward recovery. Following his term on the city council, Michael Wilson served as district representative to former supervisor Aaron Hannigan, representing District 1 from 2013 through 2024. And during his 12 years as district representative, Mr. Wilson played a key role in connecting District 1 residents with county services and advancing initiatives that benefited the Vallejo community. He worked to strengthen partnerships between the county, cities, nonprofits, and community organizations, helping bring resources and programs to residents such as the Vallejo First 5 Center, the mobile food pharmacy, and sneakers for seniors. Wilson also helped support the county's partnership with the Yoshidehi Winton Nation, which generated millions of dollars in philanthropic funding for early childhood education, family support, and other community programs. Throughout his tenure as district representative, he was recognized for his collaborative approach, constituent service, and ability to build relationships that leverage county resources to address local needs. Most recently, beginning in January 2025, Michael Wilson has served as project manager for the Community Action Partnership Solano Joint Power Authorities, CAP Solano JPA, serving as interim executive director from March 2026 through his retirement in July 2026. During this time, Mr. Wilson was a part of strengthening Solano County's homeless response and anti-poverty efforts by securing more than $2.2 million in HUD Continuum of Care funding, completing and implementing the 2026-2027 Community Action Plan to guide community services block grant investments, transitioning the homeless management information system to improve data collection and accuracy, and setting up systems for a smooth transition for coordination for fiscal activities from the city of Vacaville to the county. Mr. Wilson provided regional leadership by assisting in coordination of the Housing First Solano Continuum of Care and fostering collaboration among Solano County, its 7 cities, service providers, and community partners to improve housing stability and reduce poverty throughout the county. And he is retiring from Solano County after 17 years of dedicated public service, and I wish him nothing but the best in retirement.
Good morning. Megan Richards, Principal Management Analyst with the County Administrator's Office. I have had the pleasure of working with Michael for a lot of those 17 years. First, when he was District Representative, I worked with him on many of those initiatives, working with Yochidihi, working with bringing the First Five Center to Vallejo, and those were all very notable. I began working much more closely with him in 2025 after his period of district representative passed. He was still willing, he wanted to give more to our community and saw an opportunity with CAP Solano and came into it with just willing to do whatever, came to me and said, what needs to be done? You know, I'm not here to parse out, you know, who does what and hierarchy, give it to me. What needs to be done? I'm here for you. Literally saved my life in some ways in my career, really. You know, it was my right-hand man for a long time. And then, I don't know if many of you know this, he was supposed to retire in March. Mm-hmm. And he had turned in his paperwork, signed with CalPERS, and then saw another gap in our community when we needed this executive director and said, you know, I'm willing to stay on another couple months. I don't know if Peter was willing for that, but his husband, but, you know, and so he actually changed his retirement date so he could come help fill this gap in our community. That's how dedicated he is. But I want to mention 2 things that I don't know if you guys know about Michael, and I didn't necessarily know until I worked this closely with him. One is, all good. One is, we talked almost daily in the last year and a half, and every single time, he looked me in the eye and said, how are you? How are you today? Not, how's the work? What are we doing today? We would get there, and we got there every single day. But like, how are you as a person? What matters to you? And as you all know, we spend more of our time here than we do with our own family most weeks. And that makes a difference, right? It makes a difference to have people see you. The other thing he did pretty much every day is made me laugh. Cracked me up, sometimes to the point of tears. And again, if you know me, I like bringing joy to work. Again, we're here. Let's get the work done, let's work hard, but let's have fun doing it. And he brought that. And so I am truly, truly honored to be up here with him, standing beside him as he completes his career with the county and in public service, although I would not be shocked if you possibly saw him again. So if you have any residents, any constituents you want to send his way? No, just kidding. Just kidding. So, Michael Wilson.
And the surprise of today is former Supervisor Erin Hannigan, who said she wanted to say something short, but But we know it's possible. It's possible. Whew. Well, Michael and I began. Well, hello everybody. Good morning. It's very interesting being in this space again. It's so wonderful to see all of you. Michael and I began our political careers together in 2007 when we were both encouraged to run for the Vallejo City Council. And prior to that, I had met him through the chamber. And to you, Megan, and your comment about he has made me laugh every single day since then. And we've become very fast friends, and we're great working partners together. And I would say a lot of the success, certainly for District 1, when I represented District 1 and most of the city of Vallejo, I would have to give to Michael Wilson and just his focus on detail. I'm the idea person. I was the one getting out and getting the money, and I'd bring it back, and he'd put it together and make it look good so that people like Ian would support it. Right? Anyway, it's always a joyful day when you get to end a wonderful career, particularly representing the public and serving the public. And so for that, I want to thank my friend, Michael Wilson. I want to congratulate him on his many years of public service, and for him and Peter to have just a wonderful retirement with lots of travel and love and friends. And don't forget to invite me to those parties. So anyway, thank you for the opportunity to say a few words. I appreciate it. All right.
All right, who knew there was going to be a hype person there coming in just ahead of me? Really excited to be here. I feel like I've watched so many people stand here and retire, and I'm like, wow, that's weird. But, and I feel like I've kind of left before, but now I'm really leaving. So 17 years isn't a long time here, but I feel like my life has been long. Some mornings, especially this morning when I have to wake up early again. Monica warned me, and I get to sleep in when you're retired, not to the board meeting. But looking back, you really look at your whole career of when you started in the world. So for me, it was at age 20, I entered the Jesuit order and thought I'd spend my life as a priest. I studied all kinds of things. I taught high school. I don't know if Monica knew I was a high school teacher at one point in my life. By 30, I was back to the private sector and started my accounting career, eventually became a chief financial officer, and really dedicated myself to that. Part of it making money, but also part of it just being in the community. Then by the time that was when I was 30. By the time I was 40, as Aaron mentioned, we were elected to the Vallejo City Council, and that was a really easy time. Battle tested and a lot of difficulty in the city. The city's really struggled and taken years to stabilize. Hopefully it's going to stabilize, but it was a very difficult time then. But then we came to Solano County after Aaron was elected in 2012, and it was just very exciting up here. A lot of really dedicated people. We saw the probation team here and the hard work that every department and the leadership does here. It was such an exciting place. It is an exciting place with so much being done, and as people say, no one knows what the county does, but they do all these things that happen, and it was exciting to be a part of it and working with Aaron to really be a part of all of it. And as was mentioned, our work with the Yochadihi Winton Nation, filling the gaps of where there was need was an important part of what we did during that time, and just helping people not fall through the gaps. And that's really what it was when I went to Cap Solano a year and a half ago, of finding ways to help people from falling through the gaps, to see how can we keep people out of homelessness and how can we help people through homelessness to solutions. It's not always an easy place. There's, on the Cap Solano board, 16 elected officials. There's a tripartite advisory board with 12 members. A third of them are elected officials. Fortunately, I've been one, so I know how to behave. And then another board with 20-something board members. So here it is, by the time I'm interim executive director, reporting to 50 board members. I thought 5 was going to be tough. But so it's an exciting place. And I forgot to mention 3 of those board members are here. And it was great to serve with Capsilano members and my TAB member. And of course, the founder of the Capsilano, one of the founders right there with Mitch Supervisor Mashburn. So it's been exciting. As Megan said, I decided to stay as new people were coming in. I'm like, well, you just can't have these new people coming to the clubhouse, as we call it. Some might call it a trailer. I don't know if it's still there, James, if they towed it away. It's still there? Okay, we're good. All right, but helping with that team has been exciting. It was over a year ago that Genevieve joined us, Genevieve Moritz right there, and really took like a duck to water, figuring out how to bring solutions, how to make big changes, how to improve systems, and that really gave me a lot of things to take credit for. But it's been wonderful working with you. And then once I retired, I said, was initially going to retire, said I have to find my replacement, a new project manager. And here came Grace Chu, and just the best decision. I'm like, thank God we've got a better project manager than we used to. So Grace came in and just took over and does fantastic things. Probably the most deadpan person with my humor, but I think I get a laugh out of her once in a while. But, you know, I keep on trying. And then as we prepared to take on the accounting, here comes Sarah and Karen Deep. And I said, okay, it's all kind of crazy because it's all in this other place. You got to figure it out. Go. And working with them, we've had a good start at bringing on those systems and finding ways for improvement there. And I'm glad to know that it's in good hands with a brand new executive director who I think you're going to meet officially here in the public forum in about 4 hours when we get to that. Stephanie Weaver, who just started a week ago, I knew exactly when I met her that she's going to be fantastic and fit perfectly into this team and help bring our solutions to homelessness into a positive direction that we've never seen before. So I'm excited to watch you, maybe from an island in Hawaii, but I'll hear about how we're doing. So I'm not just retiring from a place. I'm not just retiring from here. I'm retiring from a history of places I've taught and worked and had my life. But really, as we mark our 30th year together, I'm retiring to be with my husband and hoping for 30 more years with Peter Wilson, who we joined our journeys almost 30 years ago. So we're going into our 30th anniversary. It's complicated with us to say anniversary. We've been married 3 times, always to the same person. There's all kinds of different dates. You'd have to ask him what they are. But I'm looking forward to the next 30 with you, and thanks for putting up with me. And if he was given the microphone, which he is not going to be, he'd say, all of you who think he's so funny, no, he's not. It's just don't keep encouraging him. But everyone does encourage me. But I do want to thank, in this Capsilano days, the last year and a half, I just couldn't have done it, and really wouldn't have done it without Megan Richards, because Megan is like a great shining star in this county. From the first 5 days when we first started to work together 100 years ago, to when the Capsilano came and she said, and I said, someone said, like, come and do this. It'll be fun. And it has been fun. But Megan has been extremely special, and she's an asset, as I'm sure everyone who works with her, and she hasn't driven totally crazy yet, knows that you're absolutely smart, talented, and really a positive force for the people of this county. So I didn't want, since I'm getting a plaque, I didn't want you to leave without anything. So I have a special pin that you can remember me with. It's a hummingbird. Legends say that hummingbirds float free of time, carrying out hopes of love, joy, and celebration. The hummingbird's delicate grace reminds us that life is rich, beauty is everywhere, and every personal connection has meaning, and that laughter is life's sweetest creation. So I wanted to leave you with this to remember our time helping people in the community. Okay, now if we can let Erin organize the picture. She's been dying to do this for 13 years. Picture.
Oh, pictures. Oh, I'm not organized.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the title for agenda item number 3 and call for public comment?
Adopt and present a resolution recognizing August 2026 as National Breastfeeding Month in Solano County. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So ordered by a vote of 4-0. I do not have any speaker cards for this item, but I will check online. Callers on the line, if you wish to speak on agenda item number 3, please press *3 to raise your hand. Callers on the line, if you wish to speak on agenda item number 3, please press *3 to raise your hand. Okay, ma'am, I have no one raising their hands.
Hello?
Okay, that was interesting. So today we're going to talk about the resolution of the Solano County Board of Supervisors recognizing August 2026 as National Breastfeeding Month in Solano County. And I'm only going to read one whereas, and we'll get to the folks over here. So whereas National Breastfeeding Month 2026 recognizes the importance of advancing advocacy, protection, and the promotion of breastfeeding for all families. And then to the folks that will tell us why this is so important.
Of course.
Of course.
Good morning. I'm Jaylene Richards, Public Health Administrator and the Interim Health Director for Solano County Health and Social Services. I'd like to thank the board for recognizing National Breastfeeding Month. Almost said National Public Health Week, but Breastfeeding Month. And thank you for recognizing National Breastfeeding Month. You know, we all know that breastfeeding has incredible health and nutritional benefits for the infant and the child. Last year, I was pleased to report that we had gotten to the mark of 50% of our clients breastfeeding at 3 months postpartum. This year, I'm even more delighted to report that 56% of our clients in our WIC and breastfeeding support program are breastfeeding at 3 months postpartum. And that has a lot to do with our WIC staff and our breastfeeding support program. Those employees provide education, support, and guidance to our clients to successfully breastfeed. You know the clients that we serve, and there's many challenges that they face in successfully breastfeeding their infants and having a healthy start. I'm pleased to introduce to you one of those employees, Andrea Dimas, and she'll say a few words.
Thank you. Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Good morning, everybody. My name is Andrea Dimas. I'm Health Education Specialist and WIC Regional Breastfeeding Liaison. Again, thank you for recognizing August as National Breastfeeding Month. I'm really honored to be here with you today. This year's National Breastfeeding theme is Rise, Resilience, Interdependence, Self-Determination, Empowerment. This reminds us that through policies, partnerships, and programs like WIC and our breastfeeding peer counseling program, we can create a community where every family has the support and confidence to meet their goals. I am also really proud to share that the Solano County Health and Social Services WIC program has been recognized with the USDA's 2026 Gold WIC Breastfeeding Award of Excellence. This reflects our commitment to providing breastfeeding support to families in our communities. Every day, WIC staff and peer counselors walk alongside families, answering questions, celebrating milestones, and helping them overcome challenges and reminding them that they're not alone. Sometimes what a new parent needs to hear most simply is from someone that's been there before, and they can say, I'm here to help. As someone who works for WIC, I've always believed in the value of these services, but now as an expectant mother myself, I've experienced them from an entirely different perspective. I've had the opportunity to attend our breastfeeding support groups, both as a facilitator and as a mom to prepare to welcome her first baby. Sitting with other parents, asking questions, hearing stories, and building connections has given me an even deeper appreciation for what our programs can provide. It reminded me that no parent should have to navigate their feeding journey alone. When we invest in breastfeeding support, we invest in healthier families, stronger communities, and brighter futures for the children of Solano County. Thank you once again for recognizing and honoring August as National Breastfeeding Month. Finally, the Solano County Breastfeeding Coalition would like to invite you to join us at our annual National Breastfeeding Month celebration and donor milk drive on Thursday, August 6th at 2101 Kurtz Drive in Fairfield from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. There will be light refreshments, community organizations, and fun activities for families to participate in. This event, in partnership with the Mother's Milk Bank California, helps raise awareness about the power of human milk and helps save lives through milk donation. We hope to see you there. Now, I would like to introduce Melina Madrigal, a graduate of the Breastfeeding Peer Counseling Program, who will be sharing her story with you and why the work that we do in our community is so important to our families. Thank you.
When I became a mom for the first time at 42, I thought breastfeeding would be one of the most natural parts of motherhood. Instead, it became one of the hardest. Good morning, my name is Melina Madrigal, and I am the proud mom of 2 little boys, James, who will turn 3 on Thursday, and Joshua, who will turn 1 on Saturday. Before anything else, I want to thank God for the incredible gift of motherhood. Yes, I'm a geriatric mom. I became a mom for the first time at 42, and I welcomed my second son at 44, and experienced the heartbreaking loss of a pregnancy in between. Every moment with my boys has been a gift. As a mom, I knew breastfeeding was one of the best gifts I could give my children and had also heard so much of the beautiful bond it creates. but I wasn't prepared for how incredibly difficult it would be. With my first son, I experienced postpartum depression. I struggled to feel the connection that I had imagined, and breastfeeding became one of the hardest things I had ever done. I questioned whether I was producing enough milk. I struggled with pumping, sleep deprivation, breastfeeding in public, and wondering if I was doing anything right. More than once, I wanted to quit. One of the hardest parts was feeling like I didn't have anyone in my everyday life who truly understood what I was experiencing. The women closest to me loved me deeply, but hadn't shared the same journey. That's why finding women who could simply say, "I've been there," made all the difference. Tatiana was my breastfeeding peer counselor, and she became one of those women. She checked in with me through phone calls and text messages. She answered my questions. She shared resources and encouraged me on days I wanted to quit. But more than anything, she made me feel human again. Not just a mom trying to do everything right, but a person who mattered too. And when I had my second son, I joined the WIC breastfeeding support group, which became a safe space. During one of those meetings, they recognized that my son was tongue-tied, something that I never would have known on my own. Because of their knowledge and their guidance and support, I was able to continue our breastfeeding journey for as long as I could. I've always found it interesting that words like neighborhood immediately makes us think of community. Yet motherhood, for so many women, is often experienced in isolation. We often hear the saying, "It takes a village to raise a child," but somewhere along the way, we forget that it also takes a village to care for a mother. That's why programs like this matter. They don't just become part of the village that helps raise our children, they become part of the community that carries mothers. For me, postpartum has been one of the loneliest seasons of my life. During pregnancy, everyone checks on you. When the baby is born, everyone celebrates. But a few months later, many mothers are still struggling quietly and alone. Programs like WIC don't just help babies thrive, they remind mothers that they matter too. Sometimes all it takes is one text message, one support group, one conversation, one person saying, "You're doing a great job," to help a mother keep going one more day. Today, both of my boys are healthy, strong, and thriving. My breastfeeding journeys didn't look the way I imagined they would. I grieve both of them for different reasons. But I can honestly say that I would not have made it as far as I did without their support. Today, I thank God, my partner James, my therapist Chuck Anderson, Tatiana and the WIC support group, Vallejo First Five, and every mother who has shared their story and reminded me I wasn't alone. And finally, thank you to Solano County Board of Supervisors for continuing to invest in programs that don't just nourish babies. They help mothers know that they don't have to do motherhood alone. Thank you.
She can't run.
Okay. So next will be items from the public. It is time for us to take public comment. For those of you who are here in person, please complete a speaker card and submit it to the clerk here on my right. The clerk will call your name. Please come forward to the podium promptly and be ready to speak. For those attending the meeting virtually, please press *3 to raise your hand to alert the clerk. If you wish to speak under public comment, the clerk will call out the last 2 digits of your phone number to let you know it is time for you to speak. If you are not present when your name is called, we will move on to the next speaker. Everybody will get 3 minutes. Please don't make me have to shut off. Just do 3 minutes. Always send us an email or something. But please just do 3 minutes so we can get through, because we do have a lot of people who wish to be heard today. So, Madam Clerk, who will we start with?
Yes, ma'am. Megan Richards, please.
Management analyst with the County Administrator's Office. You get me twice today. When one person leaves, you always mourn that loss, but you always have the opportunity to work with the next biggest and brightest and successful person. So I am very pleased to welcome Stephanie Weaver as the Executive Director for Capsilano JPA, and just wanted to introduce her to the board.
Thank you, Megan. Can we do this every morning when I get up? That would be great. That would really help boost that. Thank you, Megan. I have obviously some big shoes to fill behind Michael. We have an amazing team, and I'm really looking forward to this opportunity. A little bit about me. I was in the Army for 22 and a half years. I realize that this is an Air Force community, but the Army's better, so it's fine. Thank you. I may have said that with too many people in the room. Sorry. Should have thought about that first. I ended my career as a liaison to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, working on behavioral health policy for service members, veterans, and their families. And then I had the opportunity to come back to California, where the weather is amazing. And I was the deputy administrator for the Yountville Veterans Home, where I was helping aging veterans move through the rest of their lives in our home. And then I had a greater opportunity to be the administrator for the West LA Veterans Home. LA is interesting. I was very happy for an opportunity to come back up to Northern California, where my friends and family are, and to take on this challenge of being able to help those experiencing homelessness and try to carry on the mission that Megan and Michael, and at some points it was only Megan, Michael, and Genevieve. So thank you all for laying the foundation for me, and I hope that I can continue that great work, and I'm really looking forward to working with all of you to make that happen. Thank you.
Matthew Beddoe. And the next speaker will be Joel Bellarue.
Board members, before I talk to students, teachers, parents, I always start out by saying thank you for listening, and this board's no exception. So I want, in case I forget, thank you very much. I'm here as a Travis Unified School District elected school board member and elected board president. I'm not representing the entire board, I'm representing my seat on the board. I don't know if you're aware of, but now it's just not our schools. Graduating class, graduating from 12th grade, usually only 50% of the students go to college for one reason or another. And as we like everyone to go to college, there's a lot of students that don't want to go to college, so what do? So we reach out to jobs, careers, skilled labor jobs. Not so good in Solano County right now. forecast and prior isn't looking too well. Our union partners have great apprentice programs for these students, but nothing can happen if they go through a program and there's nowhere to go. And I'm just tired of hearing from alumni, well, I got to go on the highway for 3 hours a day, Matt, to get work, or I'm making minimum wage. So how do we help these kids? Because they're our future. How do we keep them here in Solano County? We have to have jobs. There has to be good jobs, good paying jobs. They grow up their whole life here and then they have to leave. And this is what's happening right now. It is really reality. I don't know what's on the horizon. I don't read anything in the paper. All I read is about people leaving, institutions leaving, things of this nature. Our kids deserve better, and I know every one of you don't wake up in the morning and say, oh, I don't care, because I know every one of you care about what's going on and the future of Solano County. You know, but the numbers do kind of speak for themselves. I'm going to put my speech away. The numbers speak for themselves. So please, whatever you can do, let's get these jobs back in Solano County, because you know what? 25 years from now, when we're all sitting in a rocking chair watching TV, it's those kids that are going to be doing what we're doing. So again, thank you very much.
Joel Barilou. And the next speaker will be Apostle Anthony Summers.
Morning, board members. As you know, they've approved, or the Energy Commission has given preliminary approval to the Corby Best plant. I hope that you ladies and gentlemen can find us some friends in Sacramento, because it seems like they really got it in for us. I don't need to go into what a disaster it's going to be when that plant and the other plants they want to put in there begin burning, because it's going to poison North Vacaville and shut down Interstate 80 for who knows how long. Now, this we've seen before. This is the synopsis of the county staff study of what the billions of dollars of taxpayer money that will go into the infrastructure if the East Solano plan ever starts happening. I want to thank the board members for having carefully considered the effects of California Forever, rather than jumping in on whatever the promoters' latest claims were. For several months, California Forever has been really pushing the idea of a shipyard. I spent 22 years in the Navy. I know a little bit about shipyards and building ships in the United States. This is one of the flyers that my wife received, talking about how a shipyard in Solano County will do wonderful things, whatever. Okay, the only reason Solano County was ever mentioned as a contender for Saronic's expansion was because at least two of the investors in California Forever are also investors in Saronic. Saronic is a real thing. Saronic has had at least 3 of their vessels used operationally in the Persian Gulf. The ones that were used were built at a warehouse in Austin, Texas. That's not a shipyard. Now, more than a year ago, Saronic purchased Gulfcraft in Franklin, Louisiana. You should go and look at the Gulf Coast. It's all full of little shipyards. Saronic spent over $300 million expanding Franklin, Louisiana. When Brownsville was looking at luring Saronic, who is a Texas company in Austin, to build in Brownsville, they weren't looking at silly Collinsville. They were looking at what was already going on in Franklin. This was just another falsehood put forth by the promoters of California Forever. I'm sorry so many people are duped. I understand why, a worker hopes that, hey, we're going to get local jobs. I get that. But the people who promote California Forever are just a bunch of liars. This is nothing more than a real estate scam. That's what John Garamendi says.
Okay, Apostle Anthony Summers, and the next speaker will be Dan Simpson.
Well, good morning. My name is Apostle Anthony Summers, and I am one of the lead organizers for the Strong Faith Coalition. And again, I'm asking all of them to stand with me today that are here. And thank you so much. We're here, first of all, to bless you, supervisors, and let you know that we're thankful for the work that you do leading the 480,000 people in our county. And secondly, we're here to let you know that as a Strong Faith Coalition, we're made up of pastors, educators, business people who represent thousands of voting congregants, and employees in Vallejo, Fairfield, and even some representation from Sacramento. We are black, we are brown, we are white, we are yellow, but we're unified. And our hope and our purpose today for coming here is to bring hope and to bring jobs and affordable housing and home ownership and a better life to the people that we represent. And we've already been successful. Supervisor Mashburn, you know, certainly as a former lieutenant, we've got hundreds of jobs created for formerly incarcerated persons. And now we're on the verge of 5 years of employing youth with our Youth Employment and Delinquency Prevention Program. And therefore, those 16 to 24-year-olds will have some hope. And we're also teaching them, because they're all on track for vocational skilled jobs. They're in college and or they're becoming entrepreneurs, but they have a hope, and we teach them to have a desire for home ownership so they can have a vested interest in the community in which they come from. And I believe Mr. Badeau just said a little earlier, so our kids are not moving away. We wanted them at home and have jobs that can help with that. And therefore, with that said, the closure of Mare Island and losing those 10,000 jobs, it took a real hit. And we've been on stilts ever since that time, kind of struggling. And now Budweiser and Valero, and again, even Jelly Belly, still kind of limping. Those hits have been pretty hard. However, when opportunities do come, for shipbuilding, for creating opportunities, we need to make sure that we posture ourselves in our leadership, even in pushing the state to be supportive of it. And so I'll say this lastly, when it comes to construction, we want to partner with you as our county leaders to that end, because our children deserve livable wage jobs to have a future, and so do our citizens right now. And so we just want to urge you to be supportive of opportunity that's here. In fact, I'm closing with this. I know I'm just a second over, but it was just said this morning from the governor's office recently, Solano County is in the best position ever to be able to receive employment opportunities and building infrastructure here. So I'm in total agreement. And if you agree with that, it's okay to clap your hands as well. So thank you, and God bless you.
Dan Simpson, and then I'm going to call some callers on the line after this, ma'am.
Good morning, supervisors. Thank you very much for being here. And good morning to all of you for being here to watch and listen to this. I'm going to argue with Joe about the quality of California Forever. I think it's real. I'm a business owner in Solano, have been for 30 years. I love this county. I love the community of Rio Vista that I live in. I want to see us go forward. I know what your job is like. You have way more work to do than you can get done in a 24-hour day. So somewhere you got to catch a little bit of sleep. I want to suggest, we all know how good this opportunity is, so I won't beat around the bush on that. What I would like to see us do is look at the future. Let's go forward. Let's don't look at what's happened in the past. Let's find a way to abolish all of the bad news that's been put out about California ever. Let's find a way to put them in the proper good light that they belong in. A gift horse coming to us, trying to build a legacy for themselves. If they wanted to make profit, they can take that money and invest it in a lot of much safer, easier ways and probably make way more money than they're going to make on any of the propositions that they've put forward to put in Solano County. It's a gift horse. Let's find a way to cuddle it. Let's feed it. Let's make it happen. How about, is there a possibility that you could maybe put together a commission of business leaders in Solano County who could do investigative work for you on a free basis as commissioners to come up with ways to make it easier for California Forever? How could we go out and help you find ways to move this along quicker, to get rid of some of the roadblocks, to knock out the problems that they've got to deal with as business folks? We all know it's not easy to put forward a project anywhere. It's not just Solano County. We've got to deal with a lot these days. We've got communications that are so far beyond when I started. I'm 82 years old. I've been in business since I got out of the service, and I'm loving it. I'm loving being in business in Solano County. I want to help. I want to help these people build their legacy. They want to leave a legacy that they made the world better. I'm a governor in Lyons. I look at California Forever like they're almost a service club, like Rotary, Seroptimus, Kiwis, Lyons. They're giving us things to make life better, to make the world a better place. Let's acknowledge that, and let's find a way to help them. I got 20 seconds. Hell, this is great. I usually need a half an hour to get my point across. My point is, let's do anything we can to help this group help us. They're trying to make our lives better. Why do we not want to have that happen? I sure do. I want to find jobs for those kids like everybody's talking about, and they've got them. Thank you so much for letting me talk.
Caller on the line with phone number ending in 34. Please press *6 to unmute yourself and state your name if you wish.
I'm Sarah, and I'm a resident of Rio Vista, and I urge the Board of Supervisors to send a letter to the Newsom administration and our state legislature that Solano County strongly opposes special legislation that weakens our county and local residents' power to guide local growth and development. With serious concerns about California Forever's the soon expansion plan having negative impacts to our water supply and the Bay Delta ecosystem, and how their project would require the redirection of taxpayer money and public funding from our current cities to finance the development of public infrastructure on undeveloped land, cause the permanent loss of local, sustainable, and productive agricultural land, and lead to an exponential increase in traffic, amongst many other concerns, a careful and systematic examination of the impacts and feasibility of their project in a thorough public process is necessary to protect us from harm. This special legislation would also have broad impacts in that it would weaken local land use authority and decision-making in the state, and it would deter our ability to ensure projects have local public value and not just extract profit while leaving us to absorb the negative impacts. For example, as county residents, we deserve to know how data centers allowed by California Forever's plan would impact our water and electricity supply and rates, what remains of the Central Valley vernal pool system, ecosystem, and the level of noise pollution. And we deserve to have the power to shape or stop the local construction of data centers, given what we learn about their impacts. Also, we have a voter-approved orderly growth initiative in our county. And California Forever purchased and sued our farmers out of land knowing it is voter protected farmland. It would be an injustice to county residents for California Forever to be allowed to bypass the democratic process in our county to push through their project without a complete reckoning of the impacts we would have to absorb. Please tell the state that Solano County says no to special legislation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next caller with phone number ending in 94. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself and state your name if you wish. Caller with phone number ending in 94. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself and state your name if you wish. Okay, we can see that you unmuted yourself and then you remuted yourself. Can you press star 6 one more time, please? Okay, we can see that you are unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Chair, members of the board. Elizabeth Esquivel with the California Manufacturers and Technology Association. We represent 45,000 manufacturing and technology companies and employ more than 1.2 million Californians. I'm here today to express the MTA's strong support for efforts that expand advanced manufacturing opportunities in Solano County. California has recently seen significant manufacturing investments go to other states, reminding us that we cannot take these opportunities for granted. If we want to attract the next generation of manufacturing projects, we must be ready to compete. Advanced manufacturing is about far more than just a single project. It strengthens our economy, creates high-quality careers, supports small businesses throughout the supply chain, drives innovation, and reinforces California's industrial and economic competitiveness. Solano County is well-positioned to attract this type of investment with a skilled workforce, strategic transportation infrastructure, deep water port access, and proximity to leading research institutions and advanced manufacturers. The region offers a unique combination of assets that few places can match. CMTA appreciates the state's recognition of the Solano Shipyard and Solano Foundry as projects of statewide significance, and we encourage continued collaboration amongst local and state leaders, labor, education, and industry to ensure that California remains competitive and ready to capture the next generation of manufacturing investment. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller is phone number ending in 44. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself and state your name if you wish.
My name is Colleen Britton, and my concern is the Kobe project and the lithium-ion battery storage plant proposed for the Vacaville-Dixon area. I want to thank the board for enacting an ordinance in 2025 preventing a BEST facility in that location. However, that is obviously not enough to protect the citizens of Vacaville and Solano County from the California Energy Commission greenlighting the project. Their recently released 1,400-page preliminary staff report glossed over and ignored many of the serious concerns that citizens have expressed. We are now in a 60-day public comment period where our questions and concerns will be answered. We need the help and support of this board to protect Solano citizens. We ask you to respond to the CEC staff report in writing, collaborate with concerned citizens, and attend the final public hearing to be held in Vacaville on September the 1st. Do everything that you possibly can do. This is a David and Goliath struggle. Thank you.
Thank you. Caller with phone number ending in 39. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself and state your name if you wish.
Hi, my name is Alicia Minion, and I'm calling to ask the Board of Supervisors to bring Measure T to a special election. As you know, Measure T expires in 2028, and we need Measure T to continue to protect our agricultural land, which the county has done so well over the decades. And the reason why I think there's a sense of urgency on this is because the California legislature continues to pass legislation that takes your authority away such as with lithium-ion battery projects, on where they can be placed. And so, for example, that's AB 205 and SB 254. We also, as you know, we have an assembly person, Lori Wilson, that supported these bills. So at the current moment, we don't have an assembly person that is going to support, in this particular case, lithium-ion battery projects, that is going to support that the Board of Supervisors has a say on where it can be placed, which is why it's with the CEC. The CEC has now, as you know, is recommending approval of the project. And while bringing Measure T back on the ballot as soon as possible, I'm also asking that the Board of Supervisors direct County Council to take steps to immediately position the county to be ready in case this results in a final approval by the CEC board. Because if this project is allowed to move forward, I'm afraid that there will be a lot more lithium-ion battery projects, and those types of projects tend to create disadvantaged communities. And they need to be placed in the right areas as you've designated an industrial zone. So that's the primary reason for my call. And do I have any time left?
You have 42 seconds.
Great. My other request is I'm requesting the Board of Supervisors to engage in audit of the Solano Economic Development Corporation. I don't know if they've been successful in bringing jobs to the county, but it appears that they're spending a lot of time on California Forever in terms of like the shipbuilding opportunity, which in my view to me, Collinsville was not viable, especially when competing with the Port of Brownsville, which is one of 8 ports in the country deemed to be a marine highway designation. It's ready, and millions of dollars has been invested in infrastructure in that port. And in fact,
Chair time.
the Brownsville School District recently, in March, approved the $200 million tax abatement. So that was under consideration for many years. But anyway, thank you.
Next caller on the line is fund number ending in 90. Caller with fund number ending in 90, please press *6 to unmute yourself and state your name if you wish. Caller with fund number ending in 90, please press *6 to unmute yourself and state your name if you wish. Okay. Caller ending in 50, please press *6 to unmute yourself and state your name if you wish.
Board Supervisors, my name is Joshua Arce. I'm Executive Director of the California Alliance for Jobs. We represent tens of thousands of construction workers and several thousand construction industry employers, including hundreds, if not thousands, in and around Solano County who are so desperate and eager to see the jobs, housing, opportunities to really turn things around in Solano happen if we can move forward. I should say when we move forward, because I think the momentum's starting to really happen now to move forward with the Sassoon shipyard and Sassoon expansion. And that's because for all of our members in Solano, some of whom you heard today, Solano County has the highest unemployment rate amongst the entire Bay Area. The opportunities that have left, we've heard folks talking about the brewery, we've heard folks talking about the refineries, the dry docks, the work has left, and there's so many opportunities to bring jobs back. I think there was so many disappointment in the fact that we couldn't get it together as a state, as a region, as a county, as a city, leaders to bring that shipyard to Texas, 10,000 jobs out the window. And we have an opportunity. We see it even just this week. There's appetite at the state to do everything we need to do, but it's got to start locally. We need the supervisors to unite, to get together, to get this done. We need a shipyard with these jobs, and that's going to need housing. We got manufacturing opportunities, all need housing. Solano, the Bay Area, everyone around is looking for opportunities to build housing we need so desperately. And the more we build, the less expensive it gets. So our coalition is here to help get the job done, to work with the supervisors here, and thank you for working hard to try to get there. We really need you to get there because the state's ready. We see from the governor and his administration ready to learn from the lessons that lost those jobs last week to make sure we don't lose the next opportunity to bring a major shipyard and a shipbuilding employer, manufacturing. Of course, we're going to need that housing too. Looking forward to working with you all in that room that support, and more folks supporting every day. Supervisors, we really need to see you get on board, work with the state legislators, the governor. We can all make this happen. We're here to help. Thanks again.
I'm going to give one more opportunity. Caller with phone number ending in 90, please press *6 to unmute yourself and state your name if you wish.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, good morning, County Supervisors. My name is Sarah Dunn, representing Chief Vacaville Safe and formerly of the Solano County Best Technical Working Group. I'm here today on the phone to urge you to use every tool at your disposal, including legal action, to prevent the Corby Best project from moving forward in Vacaville. While the CEC has issued a preliminary finding to approve it, the project directly bypasses our ordinance, our local zoning regulations, and measured key protections for our ag lands. Allowing this bypass sets a dangerous precedent for future development all across Solano County. It threatens our public safety, our economy, and our farmland. The safety risks are not hypothetical. We're all familiar with the 2025 Moss Landing fire and the environmental damage and stigma that has left that farming community. NextEra, the developer behind Corby, is currently facing a lawsuit over well water contamination caused by a fire at their East Hampton Best facility, which ultimately led to the shutdown of multiple municipal wells. The Corby project sits dangerously close to residential and city wells and Solano Irrigation District canals. A similar event here would be catastrophic for our water supply, as well as the land and the people who live nearby. You already did the right thing by enacting a moratorium and passing a strong ordinance to ensure best facilities are built only in safe, appropriate locations. And for that, we're deeply grateful. Now I'm asking you to defend those standards. Please protect our residents, our water, and our agriculture by continuing to take all necessary steps to stop this project at the locations that it's presented. Solano County is worth fighting for. Thank you for your time and your leadership.
Next speaker is Michael Hayes. And following Mr. Hayes will be Emmett Tuff.
I've spoken before about my opposition to California Forever. I wanted to ask how many in this room remember when bridge tolls were 40 cents? That was the 1980s. I was a kid. I had to fish through my parents' car to find the coins to pay the toll taker. We're a long way from 40-cent bridge tolls. We're now at $8.50, and they're soon going to be over $10 here in the next few years. And so my point for this is that growth is inflationary. If you look at the housing costs back in the 1980s, entry-level housing was under $100,000. Today it's over $500,000. And this is all because of growth. The population growth is competitive. Everybody's competing with each other for resources, jobs, any sort of quality of life issues, as well as congestion on the highways. And this California Forever project is just going to make Solano County even more unaffordable. It's going to accelerate the cost of living, continue to make everything more expensive. And I don't understand why the investors decided to put all their money in this farmland where there was no infrastructure and where there's no people, when you have towns, cities like Vallejo, which has been struggling for decades since the departure of the Navy, which was criminal that the Navy left Vallejo. That was absolutely criminal. They could have easily invested all that money in Vallejo, into Mare Island, into the Vallejo waterfront, gotten all the people in Vallejo who are underemployed, unemployed, on welfare, into good jobs. So for the people who are here supporting jobs, you really need to support Mare Island and Vallejo, because that's really the source of the problem here in Solano County. That is really the real big problem we have in this county. So this was a very poor investment choice that California Forever made. They really should have invested in Vallejo. And for the folks who think that building a new city is going to solve the problem, well, like I said before, growth is inflationary. You're going to be competing with all these new people. If you think you're going to get a job in Collinsville or Solano Foundry or whatever, good luck, because it's going to be all the newcomers, the new people coming from other countries, other states. They're going to be the ones to get these jobs. And I would know, because I've lived here my entire life. I've seen how this whole state has continued to go downhill because of all this population influx. I am done with people coming to California, to the Bay Area, and urbanizing what had been a very nice place to live. I am done with this. Do your job and stand up for the people who live here right now instead of all these newcomers. I don't want any more people coming. Thank you.
Next speaker is Emmett Tuff, and following Mr. Tuff is Carrie Leader.
I'm not here for applause or a photo op. I'm here to confront the corruption that I've had to deal with, okay? I have a question for you. Do you, when you say the pledge and you say justice for all, do you as board members truly mean that? Because all I've fucking had to deal with is injustice. Michael Pimentel, former Sassoon City Police officer and former Solano County Sheriff's Deputy, committed crimes against me in the form of a smear campaign of an arson that I was the victim of. A smear campaign. Since when do law enforcement officials participate in smear campaigns? It's suppression. It's oppression. It's corruption. Michael Pimentel is 100% guilty of committing crimes as an officer against me because of the illicit activities of the FBI. The FBI is fucking corrupt. There's too much fucking weight on my shoulders, and I'm tired of dealing with the corruption. Michael Pimentel needs to be held accountable. When he's held accountable, then the corruption is exposed. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to expose the fucking corruption. I'm tired of dealing with the weight of what is on my shoulders. Crickets. That's all I have to say.
Next speaker, Carrie Leader. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. And the following speaker after that will be Bob McGarry.
Good morning, City Council. My name is Kerry Leiter. I'm the district rep for the operating engineers in Fairfield. I'd like to start out by a few of the comments that I've heard this morning. Ag land. What ag land are we talking about off of Highway 12, where they want to build this community? There's no ag land out there. It's fields of weeds. And the only thing that's going to be put up out there if we don't build this community is going to be windmills. You can look across the road. It's all windmills. It's not ag land. That land's not good for agriculture. And just to touch on battery storage, we've been pushing in this state for alternative energy, battery cars, solar power, wind power. Nobody wants to build a battery plant. You can't have that unless you build these plants. Now, just to touch on that, going back to California forever. As a union leader in Solano County for the Operating Engineers Local 3, I know how important it is for our union members to have long-term local work. This group of investors came to an agreement with the Solano Napa building trades to build this project union, living wages, benefits, health care. They didn't come into town looking to build this cheap non-union. They came to us. We struck an agreement for the largest PLA in this country's history with this group of people. Our members want to build this. We want to be a part of it. We are the largest construction local in the country. We have 40,000 members in our local. We have 1,500 members in Napa and Solano County. We need to build this, and we need your help on Thursday to get this pushed through and to get something going on here. Status quo is not working anymore. Do we not see that? We're losing businesses, we're losing corporations. We need this to happen. And as I stated earlier, this group came to us to build this community and this shipyard using union labor, apprenticeship programs, skilled and trained workers. We're providing careers, not jobs. Our apprenticeship program is 4 to 5 years long of training a member. These are careers. We need this to happen. We need your help. And I want to thank the few members on this council that have supported labor and that have supported this project. Thank you.
Bob McGarry, and then the speaker after that will be Dr. Tony Ubalde.
Good morning. I'm Bob McGarry. I'm an iron worker. What Carrie just said about the operators is true with the iron workers too. We need the jobs. We're offering the training for the young people here. You have an opportunity right now to make a decision to help California forever or to help stop us. Oakland had that same decision to make with the A's, with the Warriors, with the with the Raiders, and they failed. And everything they have to do now is on the people. Here we can promote businesses. We can bring in the businesses we need to support this county. We can bring in our kids, work, so that in the future, this county will continue to prosper. Thank you.
Next speaker, Dr. Tony Ubalde. And the speaker after that will be Michael Jefferson.
The honorable members of the Board of Supervisors and Mr. Chairman. My name is Tony Ubalde. I'm retired pastor, professor, and have been elected official in this county for 16 years, and I'm retired from that too. I have to admit that I was very disappointed when I heard last week of the demise of the shipping program, and because of the future that many of us have seen as very, very helpful and productive for this county. So I did some little research last night and found out that the Solano County is the lowest unemployment in the Bay Area, 5.8. Solano County. San Mateo is 3.4. That says a lot to me. And when I did a little research, I discovered that the pathway from Sacramento to San Francisco is very, very popular for business and new developments. And so that's right in the heart of where we are. And lastly, I too am developing a coalition of various people in a community to help the current challenge that we have in regards to economic development. I'm concerned that many of us are not familiar with perhaps what is happening in the country. A country is evolving. A country is changing. It's not what it used to be. May I express some theological insight and perhaps academic insight? There are 3 words in a Lord's Prayer that says, "Thy kingdom come." And then in the Constitution, there's an expression that says, that we are a country who is, that we are moving toward perfection, as stated in the Constitution. And I think the country is evolving. And many of us need to be in touch and be aware of that. And in order to be in touch with that, we need to consider what it means to improve. We cannot use the same methodology. We cannot use the same ideas. We need to be open to what's happening. And that's one of the best news I heard from a friend yesterday, is that California Forever is not leaving. And I'm so glad that that's the fact. That's the fact. And so it gives us hope. And so I'm asking you to consider seriously, to be open
Chair, time.
to the opportunities that's before us. Thank you.
Michael Jefferson. Michael Jefferson. Okay, Chris Heiss. And then following that will be Selena Perez.
Hi, as you are aware, the draft EIR has come out and indicates that the only issue is for the Corby project is that it may be an eyesore. With all the research, we know that is not the case. I'm asking that you strongly oppose the project in its current location. Please ask questions on its official comments page that force them to respond. Also, if the state approves this project, sue them. I also want to point out that I am one of those in the 4th District that basically has no representation at this time. I'm opposed to the travel center that is being proposed for the Cherry Glen area. I want to remind you that Solano is supposed to be supporting the preservation of ag land. This location takes away from ag land and impacts the surrounding ag land and residents nearby. With the closing down of about 12 generational cattle and dairy farms in the area of Point Reyes, it becomes even more important to preserve this ag land, which has been used for cattle. There are other areas within Solano County or one of its cities where this project could go. Also, please oppose the Sassoon expansion plan. Thank you.
Next speaker is Selena Perez. And then the speaker after that will be Michael Geller.
Hello. Good morning, members of the board. My name is Selena Perez, and I'm a local veteran residing here in Solano County. I'm speaking today because, like so many of my fellow residents, I care deeply about the economic future, security, and industrial strength of our community. We've all seen the recent news regarding Ceramic Technologies selecting another location for their Port Alpha shipyard. Losing out on a major defense and maritime technology project like Ceramic is a tough pill to swallow, but as a veteran, I was taught that when an outcome doesn't go your way, you don't dwell on it. You evaluate, you adopt, and you build a better path forward. I believe that God gives us opportunities, but when he leaves the stewardship and action up to us, the proposal for the Solano Shipyard and Solano Foundry Manufacturing Park is our next big opportunity. Excuse me. As the state's recent Go Biz memorandum points out, Solano County sits at a critical economic crossroads. With a large percentage of our residents commuting outside the county for work, we have a clear responsibility to bring robust, high-paying, advanced manufacturing jobs back home. The takeaway from Ceramic isn't defeat, it's a call to action. It proves that major defense contractors and advanced manufacturers are actively looking at Solano County because of our water access, skilled workforce, and strategic proximity to Travis Air Force Base. What they need from us now is certainty, transparent standards, and a predictable, coordinated approval process. You, as our Board of Supervisors, have been entrusted with the power to turn this moment into a win by working proactively with state leaders, labor unions, and industry partners. You can ensure that when the next major industrial partner looks at Solano County, we are ready to close the deal. I pray that God gives this board the wisdom, courage, and vision to lead our community, to lead us forward and to build on industrial legacy Solano County can be proud of. Thank you all for your leadership, for your dedication, and for your service. God bless.
Next speaker is Michael Geller. And then the speaker after that will be Lisa Martell.
Good morning. I'm Mike Geller. I live at 5310 Kilkenny Road. If that name rings a bell, Kilkenny Road is ground zero for where the out-of-state energy companies want to build their battery energy storage systems. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. And you've heard from a number of speakers within our group called Keep Vacaville Safe. And what we're trying to do is to go through the staff assessment by the CEC and try to find the holes. Some of them are as wide as a truck. Speaking of trucks, that's a question I have for the council here today. My area is transportation. I'm looking at the transportation issue, that part of the EIR. Recently, Solano County passed an ordinance that placed a 7-ton limit on certain roads in Solano County. Weber Road, Burns Road, Willow Road are included in that. That's the exact route that Corby is intending to use to bring their batteries in. And the trucks that carry that equipment, the concrete, everything else, are much more than 7 tons. What I need to know is, have they applied for a variance or an exemption from any of that? Do we know that? Because that would seem to be a terrific flaw in their proposal, right? Okay, so.
Sir, I can tell you that county staff is looking at the draft EIR very closely, and they will be providing comments, and all that would be fair game for comments from the county. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Well, that's the main thing I wanted to say. And other than, I've really appreciated the support all of you have given us over the last couple of years on this. Thank you very much.
Lisa Martell.
Hi, my name is Lisa Martell. I live in Crockett, so I'm not in Solano County, but I can see you from my front porch. I wanted to come here today to voice my opinion and strongly advise you to put forth a moratorium on data centers within the county. We just had one passed that's in its final EIR in Pittsburgh, and I can inform you that the people, the residents of Mare Island need to be informed, because it is in their plan, it is in writing, that the electricity to run that data center is going to be produced by Pittsburgh Power Corporation. That company provides electricity to Mare Island. So I think that the people in Mare Island should be aware that their electricity, they will be in competition for electricity with a data center before they even start discussing the data center at the fairgrounds. The data center they're planning at the fairgrounds, they talk about how this data is going to be for emergency response. Well, I've worked in industry, I've worked in hospitals where sensitive information needs to be protected, and you need to make plans for emergencies. This came out of Katrina after many records were destroyed in Katrina because of the natural disaster that hit New Orleans. They move all their data off-site and into areas that are low risk for natural disasters. It would seem to me that Solano County is at risk for both fire and earthquakes, both of which I cannot get insurance for at my home. So if you're going to be putting a data center right in the middle of an area that's supposed to be protecting your data during a natural disaster, you're putting it in the wrong place. So I just wanted to suggest to you that you place a moratorium. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Michael Jefferson.
Good morning, Board. My name is Michael Jefferson, resident of Suisun City. I urge this Board to take clear actions today. First, do not do business with California Forever. They cannot be trusted. They're the enemy of the people, quite literally, in so many different ways. 90% of the county, they're rejecting them. 90% of people in everywhere, Suisun City, California, everywhere, they reject them. Their premise is data centers. Their premise is the highest return on investment. They don't care about the people. They will tell you all these promises, these glowing promises. This is going to be great. You're going to have all these tax revenues. Don't believe them. Data centers are going to be a bubble that'll burst in 10 years once they get them up in geosynchronous orbit. It'll be easy. It's technology that will excel so fast that it'll make Detroit look like a prelude, because it'll be just expired in 5 to 10 years. You'll have shells of buildings everywhere littered around. It's going to be terrible. So the thing is, first, do not enter into any agreement, partnership, or arrangement that advances it. California Forever is not a vision for a better California. It is an infeasible, top-down project that would abjectly destroy the California we know. Even though California Forever is now at the behest of Gavin Newsom's Go Biz director, for years, probably about a year now, they've been working in tandem. My Public Records Act requests out of Suisun City have detailed that they're having these fraternal conversations, saying, hey, this is how you expedite the timeline. Here's how we can work here. We can work with you. This is cronyism. This is corporatism mixed with the state. It is egregious. This is not something that works for the people of California. It only works for the top 1% earners, the elite, whatever you want to call them. And this is solidifying a peasant class and an elite class. This is what is the continued degradation of a middle class. As it stands right now, we're in sort of an hourglass shape in terms of class. The shrinking middle class has been detrimented and destroyed. These aren't jobs that are going to be benefiting the people of California. These are going to be jobs benefiting the absolute rich. This would destroy everything. It would destroy the agricultural heritage, the local self-government, the possibility of a broad middle class in order to concentrate wealth and power at the very top. It began in secrecy with massive land acquisitions when the public rejected the original ballot measures, and Suisun City robbed the vote. They circumvented democracy. This is how democracy dies in darkness, by the way, when people don't stand up, when people don't realize their rights, and they don't realize the ramifications of what just happened, where a corporate entity negotiated and pulled out of a board of supervisors and ballot initiative, and they went to a small city to bypass environmental protections, to create cronyism. This is the state picking and choosing losers and winners. It is a disaster. It is something that will only solidify the elite in California, and it won't be working for the people. And that's what you all should be working for the people. It's who you work for, not corporations, not special interests, and surely not the governor in all of his controversies and all of his concentrations of wealth and power to the top. Please do not do business with California forever, and do not consider data centers. Make a moratorium. Thank you.
Ma'am, that is all. Oh, I have one more caller who has just raised their hand. Caller with phone number ending in 19, please press *6 to unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Wendy Brecken, and I am a resident of Vacaville, have been for 36 years, and I'm calling about the Corby Best CEC Draft EIR, so Environmental Impact Report or Staff Assessment. It's a 1,400-page document, and there's a September 14th deadline to respond to it. And I'm asking the Board of Supervisors for your continued support for agricultural land and rural areas, and I hope you will dedicate sufficient resources to a thorough response to the draft EIR. We need to set ourselves up so that we can win at the commission level or after that in court. Comments made now are part of the record and can be raised in court. The draft EIR appears to be very conclusory. It's made without sufficient factual support. They don't appear to resolve issues that were raised prior to the draft in public comments. In addition, legal issues can be raised, such as a lack of analysis and facts to support their conclusions. In addition, the fact that SB 242 states that local and regional laws are superseded for best projects, that law does not specifically include a voter initiative, such as Measure T. Case law states that a statute must specifically show intent to supersede a voter initiative, which courts have to jealously guard. The voter initiatives have to be jealously guarded. CEC admits that the Corby Vest violates local laws, but does not mention Measure T. You know and understand reasons to fight the Corby Vest, turning pristine farmland to industrial areas, noise, visual impacts, thermal runway, etc. But in addition, this approval will be precedent setting. Corby owns another 40 acres of adjacent prime land, prime ag land, and land of statewide significance, which most likely will be phase 2 of the Corby project. In addition, another Vacaville project is in the CEC pipeline, and we have found evidence that there are many others who want to apply for CEC Best projects in the same area. No one will want to live or grow crops in the newly formed industrial area due to the risk of harm from Best. This is a fight of our lives to continue living in the county and continue ag production. This is a case where politically correct buzzwords are winning over facts on the ground, and it could lead to disaster for our county. We are asking you to prepare for the future by replying in detail to the 1,400-page CEC staff report. You may want to ask for more time because of resources, but I'm asking you to please put the resources into commenting so that the groundwork can be laid for a future lawsuit if necessary, whether you bring it, the county brings it or not. There is a reasonable alternative area, as you know. Oh, okay. Thank you. I was just saying that Lambie is a reasonable alternative area, and thank you for your consideration. Thank you.
And we have one additional caller that just raised their hands.
Okay, and then that's the cutoff.
Okay. Caller with phone number ending in 84, please press *6 to unmute yourself. And state your name if you wish.
Yes, good morning. I don't have my 6-year-old, so I thought I was unmuted earlier, so I apologize for seemingly just coming on. This is John McDougall, and I wanted to just congratulate the earlier honorees and say I'm really embarrassed that I spoke out of sync.
But anyway, one of the issues, and I also want to thank the board for all the work that you do. You do a wonderful job. One of the reasons that I'm on this call today is because I am a caregiver for three 90-plus-year-old relatives, and all of us will be in that situation sooner or later. And they reside in Vacaville. Well, last month we had the unfortunate situation where I just one of them is in an electric bed. She's completely bedridden. She's on hospice. I just raised her up to give her food, and then the electricity in Vacaville went out. And as you know, Vacaville and Dixon are some of the hottest spots in Solano County. So I immediately contacted PG&E, contacted the city, and PG&E gave me all these different times that they were going to restore the power. Meanwhile, I ended up having to get a generator so that they could have at least a fan to cool them off. I had to order a bunch of other equipment. Meanwhile, the day was ticking on and so forth, and Walmart and some of the other places ran out of ice. And it was just a horrible, horrendous situation. Meanwhile, my relative was in this bed in this upright position. I weigh 149 pounds, and I'm 5'4", and I literally had to lift her up and move her to another bed so that she could be able to lie flat. In addition to that, I contacted the city because I saw nothing at all. I saw nothing on the county website about any cooling centers, not that they probably would have gone. But anyway, I saw nothing on the websites at all about any cooling centers whatsoever. The day went on, they were without power, and I'm going to jump ahead because I know my time is ticking. They were without power for 25 hours. There was absolutely nothing at all. And then when I did contact someone in the city, they said that the city of Vacaville, I'm a resident of Fairfield. The city of Vacaville didn't have any cooling centers or anything else. As night fell, it was like an apocalyptic scene. There were seniors trying to lift their garage doors and trying to just cool off the best way they could. There was no water. There was nothing from the city or the county where there was any kind of alert about what was going on, and it was horrendous. We have to do better with seniors because I know during COVID, us seniors were told, well, don't worry, the only people who are dying are seniors, and this is the way we value our seniors. So we've got to start doing preemptive notifications so that when, because a lot of seniors in the community where they reside were totally confused. Okay. And so just do better. There again, I thank you for your time, but we've got to do better in terms of resources and doing notification in advance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you would send us an email and give us a little bit more information, so, because I serve on the Area Agency on Aging, and I can go back through and talk with whoever needs to be so we can make sure that doesn't happen again.
Okay, that is all of our speakers. Yes, sir. Yes, but that is for agenda item number 24, which we are not on yet. No, you marked agenda item number 24. We'll accept public comment for agenda item 24 when we are hearing agenda item number 24. You're welcome.
Okay, so additions or deletions from the agenda.
Ma'am,
Yes.
will you move your microphone?
Oh, I did that and moved that. Okay, so Ian, I get to say it again.
Okay.
Are there any additions or deletions for the agenda?
No, Chair. No additions or deletions today. Thank you.
All right. So then I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Ordered by a vote of 4-0.
Okay. So are there any consent calendar items that the board members wish to speak on or have pulled from the consent calendar? Number 8.
Speak or have it pulled?
Just speak.
Okay.
I just need to ask a question.
Okay. And nothing on you? Okay, okay. So, all right, go ahead and ask the question.
I do not have a question in reference to the changes that they're requesting. That's not the question. As I looked at the Commission for Women and Girls, I realized that they do not have their own budget or any funding source tied to them. I know there are commissioners, we all appoint them, but they have to rely heavily on other entities in order to put on the things representing women and girls in this county as a whole. And so and maybe this is something staff can come back later, we can talk about, but I didn't understand why they don't have a line item in our budget for this entity and the work that they do for us.
So, Ian Goldberg, County Administrator. Happy to pull the history on it, but when we originally created the Women's and Girls Commission, there was no funding allocated for, and that commission's been in place for, oh gosh, quite some time now. Yeah. But happy to have a conversation about it. It's not part of our budget. We don't typically fund those commissions for activities. So we can have a conversation, and then if necessary, it can come back to the board.
Okay, I would like a conversation just to see, because I'm not sure how it's different. Well, I guess First Five have their own funding source, so that's why there's the differences. But I would like to bring that back for a discussion, but meet with you offline about it. Okay, thank you. All right, to the chair, I'm willing to move that particular item for approval.
All right, so the motion to approve the consent item for items 4 through 10. Was there anybody else?
Yes.
Oh, I always forget, because it seemed like we did a lot of public comments. Sorry, my bad. Yes, please, to the clerk. Is there anybody who wishes to speak on the consent calendar that's from the public?
I have no cards for public comment. Let me double check with the online callers on the
Okay.
line. If you wish to speak on the consent, on an item on the consent calendar, please press *3 to raise your hand. Callers on the line, if you wish to speak on an item on the consent calendar, please press *3 to raise your hand. Okay, ma'am, I have no one raising their hands.
All right, so.
To the chair, I'd like to move the full consent calendar versus one item. I thought the full calendar had already been moved and seconded in my thought process. So I would like to move the approval of the consent calendar.
Okay, so we're talking items 4 through 10 because we talked about 8. We didn't move anything on that one. All right, so it's been properly moved and seconded.
Okay.
We had public comment.
Yes, we did. Items 4 through 19. We're good.
Oh, it's 19. It looks like a 0. Sorry, my bad.
It's ordered by a vote of 4-0.
Okay, so now we get to go to regular calendar. And since I see somebody coming, that must mean we get to have a presentation of some sort. So to the clerk of the board, would you read agenda item number 20?
Yes, ma'am. Open a notice public hearing on the Green Valley Open Space Maintenance District levy of assessment for fiscal year 26-27 and continue the public hearing to August 28th, 2026 at 9 a.m. without further notice.
Good morning, James Bezick, Director of Resource Management. Only one correction to the item. It should be August 25th. So we're recommending that we open the public hearing and then continue it to that date, which is a board day.
So do I get to do it now?
Go for it.
Yes. So we are going to be noticing a public hearing on the Green Valley Open Space Maintenance and continue this hearing till August 25th 2026, and it will be agendized for 9 a.m.
Thank you.
May I ask for public comment really quick? I do not have any cards, but I do have a caller on the line.
Feel free.
Callers on the line, if you wish to speak under the public hearing for agenda item number 20, please press *6 to raise your hand. Callers on the line, if you wish to speak under the public hearing for agenda item number 20, please press *6 to raise your hand. Or *3 to raise your hand. My apologies. I do not have anyone raising their hand.
Was there any comments from the board on changing anything? We're good? Well, then I guess,
Need a motion in a second?
yeah, just somebody say, we're going to do it. We have to close,
No. We're continuing the
we're
public.
going to close.
The public.
Yeah, no,
hearing
that's
will- with the
okay.
motion, we will continue the public hearing.
That's perfectly fine. All right, so we're been properly moved and seconded to continue till August 25th, 9 a.m.
So ordered by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll just stay here for a while.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. So to the clerk of the board, item number 21.
Conduct a public hearing to consider a report of delinquent solid waste service charges for properties within unincorporated Solano County. Hear and consider any protests or objections to the report and make appropriate revisions or corrections. Consider adopting resolutions confirming the report of delinquent accounts, imposing the delinquent solid waste service charges as special assessments, authorizing the recording of liens and directing placement of delinquent charges on the fiscal year 26-27 secured property tax roll, approve a $62 administrative lien charge per affected parcel, and authorize the Director of Resource Management or their designee to execute and record releases of liens upon payment in full.
So before I open the public hearing, are there any questions from the board? So I get to do this again.
Okay.
So we're going to open up the public hearing. So, Madam Clerk, do we have any comment cards on public hearing?
I do not have any comment cards or callers raising their hands at this time. May I double check after staff makes a presentation?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. We don't have a formal presentation, but Narcissa Untal, who's the principal planner over top of this program, is going to say some words. And obviously, if you have questions, we'd be happy to answer them. Narcissa?
Great. Thank you, James. Good morning. Narcissa Untal, principal planner with the Department of Resource Management. Once per year, we are here to present to you that the county authorizes its 4 contracted garbage haulers to assign delinquent accounts to the county for special assessment liens to be placed on property tax bills in accordance with Chapter 23 of the Solano County Code. The 4 contracted haulers are present with us today. They are Recology Vacaville Solano, who provides service to the unincorporated areas outside the cities of Dixon and Vacaville. Recology Vallejo, who serves the unincorporated area outside the city of Vallejo. Rio Vista Sanitation Service, doing business as Mount Diablo Resource Recovery, and serves the unincorporated area outside the city of Rio Vista. And finally, Solano Garbage Company, doing business as Republic Services, and serves the unincorporated area outside the cities of Benicia, Fairfield, and Sassoon City. Each of these haulers provide for the collection, transportation, and management of garbage, recyclables, organics, and small quantity hazardous waste. These are their customers include residential, commercial, and industrial, and those are customers within their assigned area of the unincorporated. Customer accounts become delinquent 30 days after billing. If the account holder is different from the property owner on record, the contractors are required by county ordinance to send a delinquency notice within 15 days after the delinquency date to the property owner as well. Customer accounts that are delinquent for 60 days or more are assigned to the county for special assessment liens against the parcel where services were rendered for the period April 1, 2025 through March 31st, 2026. Over the last 5 weeks, the contractors and the county have worked together to coordinate outreach to property owners and account holders to inform them about today's public hearing and encourage payment. This was done by certified mail, regular mail, and by phone, in addition to the notice's publication in 3 of our local newspapers. These collective efforts have resulted in reducing the final report of delinquent accounts that I present to you today by 49%. The individuals responsible for this success are very much worthy of public acknowledgement today, them being Rebecca Gilbert with the Department of Resource Management, Melanie Calabrese with Recology Vacaville Solano, Rosalind Lomack with Recology Vallejo, Julie Romack with Mount Diablo Resource Recovery, and Sierra Parks with Republic Services. Thank you to all of them. The final report of delinquent accounts is current as of 8:00 a.m. today. Copies of the final report have been made available to the clerk as well as to the public in the back of the room. However, the contracted haulers have informed me this morning that additional payments were received. And so with concurrence from County Council, I ask that the board's action on the final report of delinquent solid waste accounts include any payments made up to 5:00 p.m. today. The department recommends that the board adopt the resolutions to confirm the final report of delinquent accounts, again, as of 5:00 p.m. today, approve a $62 administrative charge per parcel for the county departments to recover costs, direct the clerk of the board to file a certified copy of the resolutions with the county recorder to create the special assessment liens, authorize the ACO to impose the delinquent fees and administrative charges as special assessments on the fiscal year 26-27 tax roll, and finally, authorize the Director of Resource Management or their designee to record a release of lien when delinquent accounts are paid. With that, that concludes the department's presentation.
No, it's great. I know we do this every year, and I found somebody's name I won't bring out right now. But if you want to go and look at that page, it starts with an F. Okay, I am just reading it. All right, so, sorry. Okay, if you don't have a little levity up here, it's me too much. Okay, so I know you guys always do a great job, and so thank you for doing that. And I know the two of you guys decided to call each other up and say, what color shade is your green? All right, so staff made the presentation. Board, is there any comments or questions? Go ahead.
Yes, to the chair. How do we get them to, I mean, I know we're doing assessment of fees, but how do we incentivize them to get these delinquencies, covered? Yeah, how do you make them pay? Yes.
So once the account goes into delinquent status, the contractor haulers send monthly billing notices to both the property owner as well as the account holder. So once March 31st rolls around, then those accounts are then assigned to the county. At that time, we set the public hearing date here with the board from 5 to 6 weeks prior to the actual hearing. And during that 5 to 6 week time period, we are diligently working together, county staff and contracted haulers of the names that I've previously mentioned, and contacting each of the property owners and account holders to encourage payment to get them off the list before even the published deadline of today's agenda. So again, we sent certified mail, regular mail, noticed it in the local papers, and again, phone calls daily.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And today's action is sort of the final element that we can do, which is the placement of liens. And those generally do get the attention of landowners because it puts their properties at risk. And so the lien itself will need to be resolved before they can sell, refinance, or any of the other things. So that is, once we get to this point, this action generally helps to move things along. After that point, then that's a whole different process. But we try every effort we can to get till we get to this point, and then we have to use this as our sort of last resort.
Well, thank you very much. I just wanted to know.
Anybody else? Okay. So any public comments on anything? Oh, do I'm closing. Okay, so I will open the public hearing, which I did. Now I just closed it, which was lovely, because you can think of somebody's, I won't go there, okay? So, guys, okay, I have a motion.
Second.
It's been
Multiple
properly.
seconds.
A lot of seconds, like get moving, Monica, because it's lunchtime. Okay.
So ordered by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you. And the action that you took today takes it to 5 o'clock. Typically, the way it's structured is that the liens, they have until you take the vote to make the payment. The extension till the end of the day is something that you guys have approved now. And if you know anybody on the list, obviously let them know. They have until the end of the day to get in. So.
I think on two of those names, no, I wouldn't be helping anybody.
Okay. Just wanted to say that the ability to go to 5 is a new wrinkle, and it's helpful for the public. So we thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And yeah, you're right, 5 p.m.
Thanks, Narcissa.
All right, so item number 22, would the clerk of the board read the title, please?
Receive an update on the Department of Resource Management Planning Services Division's fiscal year 26-27 work plan for planning-related projects and reports, and provide direction on the proposed work plan.
Oh, you didn't leave again? No, I'm just teasing.
I am going to turn this one over to Misty Kalkreiner and Alan Calder to do the presentation. So with that, I will let them take it away.
Hey, good morning still, board and chair. Misty Kalkreiner and Assistant Director of Resource Management, and here with Alan Calder, and we're going to give the update on a planning division work plan. So typically this work plan, I think the last time we gave an update was a couple of years ago. And so what we anticipate is there's been a lot of things that are happening, and so this is the prime time to give the board an update on where the division is heading and what kind of the priorities we can set moving forward for this next, during this fiscal year, actually this year coming up. And also, the aim of today's work plan is not to request additional staff or funding, but is rather to provide the board the opportunity to review the proposed work program and understand how the staff resources are anticipated and allocated, and to provide comments on the work plan and the priorities moving forward. So with that, I'd like to just turn it over real quick to Alan.
Thank you, Misty.
To move forward.
Appreciate it. Chair Brown, supervisors, members of the public, Alan Calder, planning manager. Yeah, so we're happy to come back to you with an update about the planning division work plan that shows the.
We actually want to have, there you go.
It's coming up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The implementation of the county's land use program, and good. So I'll start with an org chart here about how we're organized. Under James and Misty's leadership, I oversee the 3 core areas of the planning division. So that's current planning, long-range planning, and the sustainability integrated waste management arms of the planning division. We are, I'm happy to say, hitting on all cylinders with a new hire on this coming Monday, principal planning position. Who will bring to you for an introduction. We're very excited to welcome him on board. So yes, we're the planning manager, 10 planners, and 2 Civic Spark staff members. So we're organized in this way. So your current planning or kind of day-to-day processes of permits and applications, et cetera. Long-range planning is more of your general plan, zone text amendments, overlays, things of that sort. And then obviously the sustainability and integrated waste management arm is under Narcissa Untall's direction, and she deals with the majority of the integrated waste management items there. We got that button fixed, that's good. The core functions of our group are, again, the day-to-day permitting and application processing, assisting the public, implementing the general plan, the zoning code, subdivision ordinance. We support the Planning Commission and the board in developing land use policies and permit determinations. We provide technical support for long-range and regional planning projects, the general plan update, housing element, airport land use commission, the decennial census, RENA, which is the regional housing needs allocation, and we do some climate action planning. And then we also manage the countywide recycling planning and sustainability initiatives. And importantly, of the 20 board priorities that were established in 2023, 14 of them fall on our plate. So with that, we have as an attachment the 39 priority tasks that we're working on concurrently, and a majority of those are board priority items. So this first item here, permitting and compliance, is achieved by both current and long-range planning staff, and this constitutes almost half of our time. So this is permit processing that come in online and through the door at the counter, and then regular board updates, preparing and presenting updates on planning initiatives and land use topics. So this is a variety of commissions and organizations we interface with. We do compliance review of existing use permits with other compliance of conditions, so we'll check back in on use permits that have been issued and ensure that their conditions of approval are still met. There's a lot of zoning review, code compliance, interface, and an awful lot of inquiries with the public and public assistance. This next area here is the sustainability and integrated waste program administration and implementation. This is about 18% of the time. This includes three main areas. It's the integrated waste management program itself, and the garbage contracts that Narcissa Untall and James were just talking about a little bit more here in detail, and then also the Bay Rand and other projects associated with that. So a good part of our staff programming hours are dedicated to this effort as well. Zoning regulation updates, economic development and housing. This includes both current and long-range planning staff. And this is where we're looking at zoning code updates, economic development and housing initiatives. We're very pleased to come back to you here soon with regards to the Pleasance Valley agritourism overlay. Encompasses about 6,000 acres in the Pleasance Valley area. We're really excited about that initiative, and there was a pretty favorable article in the paper this past weekend on that. Housing element implementation, accessory dwelling units, staying up on the regulations. Economic development initiatives, the I-80 interchange study is underway. Collaborate and with Solano EDC, and then we have collaboration with Ed King and the Ag Commissioner's SALT grant efforts as well. So housing is the RENA programs. We're very excited and have introduced the idea about the CDBG grant that we received in the department, $600,000 grant to do a planning study for two very innovative housing initiatives that we're excited about. One is a feasibility study for something called pocket neighborhoods. We'll be really excited to bring that forward and show you some of that exciting efforts there that we're working on, as well as an affordable housing study, site selection countywide in the unincorporated areas. We also have the ongoing homemakers rehab program underway, as well as the site planning effort in the Dixon Courtyard area. So then we have our administrative aspect of the planning division work hours. This is about 5% of our time. This is where we do staff development, training, continually bettering our skill sets, learning best management practices. We send staff to courses through UC Davis Extension, and annual conferences, et cetera. So we really do promote and advocate for staff development. That includes process development. That's a lot of the softwares that we're embracing here through GIS, Acela, which is our permit tracking software, and then something called DigiPlan that sits on top of Acela. So we're constantly learning best practices there. And then we're also putting together publications for public communications and improvements, farm stand brochure, special events handout, and then a number of handouts at the front counter, as well as documents that we put up online for the public to review. And then we have some miscellaneous and general plan update efforts here. So this constitutes roughly 20% of our staff hours, but this is where we have large development project planning and monitoring. So this is where we're looking at annexation petitions and coordination with LAFCO in a high level detail, as well as we're excited to begin on the general plan update, which is a rather large effort, and hopefully coming along very soon here. I know there's a number of initiatives associated with that that we'll be working towards. So then this item here with the planning division workload and staffing summary. So this is, basically our workload allocation as an attachment is identified in this document here for you all to have a look at. We are approximately 90% committed there, so we have some capacity, but not a whole lot to take on new efforts. Importantly, the board priorities are identified here in a lavender color, so we try to be very transparent about which actions we're undertaking that reflect board priorities. And as Misty had indicated, that with the general plan update and possibly some miscellaneous projects that are in the queue, we may find ourselves with a need for additional staffing at a principal planning level to satisfy those needs going forward. And I do just want to highlight that is in one of our attachments, we did highlight some of our accomplishments since 2022. So just as a reminder, we achieved the Ag Mitigation Ordinance adoption, WELO, which was the Water Efficient Landscape Ordinance adoption. The Fire Hazard Severity Zone Ordinance was updated. We did update our zone text amendment for farm stands. We updated the Battery Energy Storage System Ordinance, and we did update our sign codes as well. So thank you for your collaboration and assistance in those achievements. And with that, I'll wrap up here. Our recommendation today is just to present this presentation to you and receive any comments that you see fit for us to course correct or take on new priorities or tasks. Thank you.
Just a real quick clarification on the attachment about the accomplishments. That was since our last work plan, which was 2024.
I do not have any cards, and I have no one. I do have one caller on the line. I will see if they wish to speak on the item. Okay. Jeannie McDougall, if you wish to speak on agenda item number 22, 22, please press *3 to unmute yourself, or to raise your hand. I can't speak. Okay, they are not raising their hand, so I have no public comment for this item.
We have no action.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that means we're not adding any more to your workload, that's why you're being kind.
We're always available. That's sort of our goal, so obviously please reach out to us. Thank you again.
Thank you.
It's a lot of work. I know it is, guys.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank all three of you.
Receive an update from Resource Management on a request for the Fairfield-Sassoon Sewer District to conduct a sewer service study for the Sassoon Valley area in response to the county's request for the FSSD to provide sewer service to various properties, provide direction to staff on the study scope, and delegate authority to the Director of Resource Management to coordinate with the FSSD on a proposed scope of work and to execute the study agreement within budgeted appropriations.
All right, so you're still with us.
Still here.
I'm so glad.
Great.
So get the chance to see you.
Yeah, appreciate it. So, just from an overview standpoint, the purpose of the presentation, we're back here to provide an update on the request for the sewer service study. Jordan Demerol is in the audience. He's from the district. If we need to call him up, we will, but he's not necessarily here intending to speak, so we appreciate his attendance. Through today's presentation, we're hoping to show why this study is needed before the district evaluates additional out-of-service agreements or out-of-agency service agreements, present potential study scope options. We want to have some discussion around those elements. We want to receive your direction on the scope of the study and then authorize staff to coordinate with the district on the proposed scope of work. Some context, we presented this the last time we were at the board last year. It's just we are currently operating under a 2008 general plan, and the area we're discussing is the Sassoon Valley. It has its own strategic plan, and the board and the public both acknowledge that this is an important agricultural region with opportunities for compatible economic development. The strategic plan was adopted in 2011, and it implements the general plan by balancing agricultural preservation, wine production and agritourism, visitor-serving uses, and rural character and landowner choice. The existing infrastructure, most of the parcels rely on individual wells and on-site waste treatment systems. Those sometimes have their limitations and sometimes have their failures and struggles. And so some common considerations that we take when we're looking at the viability include groundwater levels, soil characteristics, the age of the property and the condition of the existing systems, and the available area for treatment and reserve capacity. So everything right now is really handled on site in that area. If there's other uses that may be beneficial from that, that's sort of the purpose of the discussion here with regards to the study. Just as an update, this is the general plan, the strategic plan land use map. The central area, it's a little bit hard to see, but it's the orange boundary is the strategic plan area, and it encompasses many land uses within that to support agritourism and wine production. So to get to the point of where the sewer study requests, so the county requested previously the district to consider service for Wood Creek 60 and the Rockville Road, which had a failing septic system. Both of those were identified, taken to the board, and then taken to the district for consideration. These requests raise broader questions regarding the existing 2003 agreement of eligibility, potential intensification of those eligible parcels, some failed and septic systems that may or potentially fail, and then future service requests in the Sassoon Valley. So when we brought that forward, the district's response was to request a sewer study to identify parcels and land uses in the entire area, potential sewer demands, current and long-term, and areas for the district evaluation to tie into capacity planning. So the district is currently assessing their long-term capacity needs, and so any study that we do is sort of timely in that discussion. So this slide really, someone have a question?
No, I just was talking to myself.
Okay. Not a problem. So in this slide, we're sort of talking about what the study is and what it's not. So the study would analyze the study areas identified, establish planning level sewer demand, evaluate infrastructure and capacity, review technical, legal, financial, governance, and LAFCO-related considerations, and then inform future county, district, and public discussions. What the study would not is it will not approve sewer service. It doesn't approve development projects. It doesn't require the property owners to connect, and it doesn't expand the current district boundaries. It doesn't commit the county or the district to funding, and it doesn't change zoning or general plan land use designations. And that's a critical point there is that, and we received comments since this has been published, that the purpose of the study is not to promote new zoning uses. It is to study the current existing zoning that has been identified in the general plan. Sure. Sure.
That means that it does not have any effect whatsoever on the, oh, sorry, I'm in trouble. That means it doesn't have any effect at all on the Suisun Valley Strategic Plan and does not alter it, change it, or touch it in any way.
That's not the intention of the study, correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments?
Oh, I'm still going. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
I still got more. Sorry. So this slide, we're going to talk about some of the public outreach and the input received. So a staff attended a town hall conducted by Supervisor Williams on September 30th of 2025. And then Supervisor Williams also facilitated a package plant educational town hall on June 24th, 2026. Staff also met with stakeholders. We met with the vintners and growers. We met with the Farm Bureau and some of the wine producers running up to this presentation so we could get some more input from them. Some of the key public comments and the questions included the potential cost of sewer infrastructure, which we don't have identified, but would be part of what we're looking to study. The geographic extent of sewer service. Some of that will be discussed today, but we'll identify that based upon board input and go forward from that standpoint. The concern that the study would require sewer connections, and that's not the intention of this. The study would not delineate any of those needs or requirements. Concerned that the study would generate housing subdivisions, and that goes to the point of what I said previously with regards to current zoning. So housing subdivisions aren't currently allowed in the strategic plan area. Wood Creek is outside of the strategic plan area, but is part of the 2003 agreement with the district for potential service. And Wood Creek was identified in the general plan as a subdivision. So there was a lot of concern with this creating the need for development of those types of uses, and that's not the intention of the study. I lost my place on here. Oh, desire to study alternatives like package treatment plants and decentralized systems. I think that's a critical element of the study that the study can look at. And we thank the Supervisor Williams for bringing forward that topic. Agricultural rural character and landowner choice. Again, we want to make sure that those are held in as we go through the process of the study. All of these topics can be incorporated into the study and future outreach process. Pause for a second, catch my breath. Okay. All right, so in the board report, we outlined some of the scope options for the study. On the screen is a little map showing the area. So option one would be focused on the 2003 agreement area and any failed or failing septic system. So the idea here is that we've already identified areas that have some struggling systems and may need a connection. The district, LAFCO, and the county have an agreement from 2003 that allows for those connections. Typically, connections to a sewer system in the unincorporated area aren't allowed through the LAFCO process. The district has special legislation that allows them to make those connections when necessary or if approved. So this would be what we would recommend as the minimum study scope. It includes all the eligible parcels under the 2003 agreement, which also includes the Wood Creek 60, and then the Rockville Corners Road parcel that had a failure. It includes other potential failed and failing septic systems that may come up because the district, if we identify it as a public health issue, the district can provide a connection. So option one would be looking at those potential needs. Option two would be expanded, and it's the sort of the greenish, tealish circles on the map. I don't think this works anymore. Those areas are along the I-80 and Rockville Road, and they cross I-80 down to the southern portion of the study area. So it would include everything we discussed in option one. It adds the broader I-80 corridor and Rockville Road area outside the 2003 agreement, and then it evaluates potential economic development supporting sewer service. And again, it would be uses that are currently identified in the general plan and in the strategic plan. We're not looking at new uses. The study would try to evaluate those uses and the needs that they would generate that could be either served by on-site alternative systems or a sewer connection. Jumping from that, we go to option three. Option three is just a broader circle of an area. It includes options 1 and 2, and it preserves future planning flexibility. The intention on option 3 would be to look at just a general number of, or a load calculation number that the district could utilize to understand if there was some additional capacity that necessary or available, what would that look like? So it's not really identifying or promoting sewer service up into the northern portions of the valley, but it's just a general number to provide a capacity that the district could study and utilize as they plan for their upgrades and growth. And then option 4, We're open to anything the board would like to recommend or structure. So you can combine, narrow, expand, or modify any of the options, and that's sort of the point of here today, is for us to get that input from you. So board direction is the next step. So to reiterate, so the direction we're requesting is to confirm the study scope and the geography, to determine the level of future flexibility, confirm whether or to evaluate package treatment or decentralized alternatives, and we recommend that that's part of what the study is. Confirm the public outreach expectations, and be happy to discuss what those look like. And then from a next step standpoint, if the board directs us to go forward with the study, we would coordinate with the district on scope, cost estimate, consultant needs, and procurement. We would go through the process of conducting the study, hold community meetings. After the study completion, we would also hold them as part of the study process. That's part of the outreach that would be identified in the scope. And then we would return to the board with study results and some next step discussions. On the screen are the priorities that they're really supported by what we would look at through this study. It supports the right to farm. It supports the agricultural infrastructure and general plan updates. It supports the board's priority of economic development. The general plan economic development strategy, which is also a separate priority, and the county utility master plan. So this would feed into those priorities if the board chooses to move forward with the study. And then the recommendations are on the screen. Receive the update. We thank you for taking the time on that. Provide direction on the study of the scope, or the scope of the study, and delegate authority to the Director of Resource Management to coordinate with the district on scope and work and execute the study agreement within budgeted appropriations. And with that, I turn it over to the board. Thank you.
Supervisor William has her hand up.
Sure.
Thank you, Chair Brown. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank staff for their work on this particular request for a feasibility plan, and for taking the time to meet with the stakeholders in Sassoon Valley. So greatly appreciated, and attending both town hall meetings that I held that was open to the public, and anyone could attend those particular meetings. One of the things I really wanted to stress was the last town hall that I held, which was on wastewater and opportunities for packaged plants. We did look at larger packaged plants. I will be, of course, bringing forward another town hall that will focus on the smaller packaged plants, just to continue to provide opportunities for educating ourselves on what is available and what we could utilize in the valley. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to be honest with everyone. Back in 2023, of August 22nd of 2023, this board had this before them at that time. And during that time, Supervisor James wasn't on the board at the time, but Supervisor Hannigan was, now Hannigan Andrews. And we were intentional to bifurcate the Wood Creek City 60 project out of the Sassoon Valley, because it is not a part of the Sassoon Valley strategic plan. It's outside of the plan itself. Nevertheless, staff was given direction to request that the Wood Creek 60 development project went forward. Unfortunately, once it went to the Fairfield-Sassoon Sewer District, it did not move forward because the sewer district made the request that they were interested in doing a more broader scope based on their, they were currently creating their own feasibility plan to determine their capabilities and what they can provide. Now, granted, the Fairfield-Sassoon Sewer District is outside of this district. They need legislation to even move anything forward in order for anything to take place. One of my concerns is, and I'm going to also speak for the stakeholders in my district that also have, I do believe, sent you all correspondences. But nevertheless, I just want to say the Sassoon Valley Vintners and Growers Association and other vintners are not opposed to a study. What their main concern is the language that directs staff or gives staff the opportunity to evaluate a broader opportunity or economic development projects without identifying what those future opportunities may be or may be considered at this time. So I just want us to really push and support the Sassoon Valley Strategic Plan as it is written, and it's been working very well. The vendors and growers continue to grow in that area, but I believe that we should support option 1 in this process because Rockville already qualifies for sewer services as it is, and they could, giving the sewer district the opportunity to look at their capabilities to expand. However, if this board does choose any other options, I do want to stress that the vintners and growers have met. They have expressed their concerns. Now, I'm not sure, based on the study itself, it indicates identifying projects. I don't know what those projects are or could be. And I just need to know, is it land we own, or are we coming up with projects that we may want to see in the future based on land held by landowners? And so they have a plan, they're sticking with it, they're moving forward. I would like to strongly suggest that the Wood Creek 60 project and the Rockville Corners project be included in the feasibility. If you want to look at other areas, I recommend that we stick with what we have already in our plan for us to take into consideration. I am concerned, although it is indicated that existing permitted land uses, current zoning regulations, or adopted Sassoon Valley strategic plan will not be imposed upon, but we don't know really what the future is, and we need to really think about, like, what would that look like, because option 2 allows us to do the interstate interchange, but then it won't just be my district, that also impacts Supervisor Brown's district as well, in addition to looking at sewer services. And we know that the city of Fairfield in the past has looked at these areas for opportunities for annexation. And so I just wanted to make sure this board recalls for the last 3 years what we have been looking at. Fortunately, you did not get an opportunity to come to the town hall. I can tell you that the community wasn't very happy about it. Nevertheless, we made sure that they were informed and kept abreast of things. So I just want to make that recommendation that we go with option 1, and that's my suggestion. Thank you.
Supervisor Mashburn?
I was going to wait till after public comment.
Oh. Okay. I didn't see your name up here. Well, there was something I wanted to ask. Okay. So I'm confused. So I'm going to throw out the question that I was thinking. I'm looking at Solano Community College, and I'm thinking maybe in 50 years, because who knows what will be happening. I thought the intent of this was to see if we were expanding out what might be needed, not that we were going to change anything. So what am I missing?
So the genesis of the study obviously is on the circle, the purple circle of the 2003 area. Those parcels are currently identified, allowed to have a connection. That's a single connection to the parcels. Those typically expect a residential and an accessory dwelling and low impact connections. But the zoning within the strategic plan and the general plan allow for uses that are a little bit more intensive. We've seen that with Solano Landing, which got a connection through the district and is doing a winery, tasting rooms, and things like that in the Rockville Corners area. That intensification is a little bit more than what was anticipated by the district in their connections at that area. So because of the amount of requests coming in and the capacities walls that they were running up against, and that they're doing in a current study that's going to expand and identify those areas, their recommendation was to take a look at, right now, when we have the opportunity, does the county want to study that area only? Does the county also want to look at some other areas in the sort of tealish option 2 areas along the highway that we've studied through, or we're working through the study on the highway interchange opportunities? Did we want to include those for potential future connection amounts, as well as number 3, which would be just a general number of capacity to build in? Options 2 and 3 would not be currently allowed connections to the district because of their enabling act. So anything that is identified within that area would need to be taken through them to get their expansion of their enabling act to allow any future connections. Everything in the 2003 area currently has some coverage to do that.
Okay, but I think I get what you're talking about. But for me, I always thought the intent behind this was that should down the road we have a different mindset, we know at least something has been discussed and looked at. So I apologize for not understanding the connection here. I mean, obviously Wood Creek 60 and Rockville Corners and all that, we know that there has to be something that's there because of all the bacteria and all that. That's not what I'm concerned about. I'm more concerned about, I thought we were going to be looking at because we're going to have a new, because of global warming and all of that and the levees, I thought we were looking at what would be the capacity down the road of what a new sewer district would look like. What does that mean in terms of the land that we have here? What do we need for that down? Just not that we're going to do it per se, but you know, when we're not here 50 years from now, though I will come and haunt you, I'm just sharing with you, that we would then have a mindset of, okay, so here, it's like when we know where we want to put a school. Why do we want to put a school? Because we anticipate this and this and this, so that's what we do. It doesn't mean that we're building it. It just means that we're showing on a map what could be done because we've looked at it ahead of time. I don't know if that's making any sense, but I'm still not clear. I thought that's what we're going to be doing.
So what you're describing is a little bit more intensive from a study standpoint.
Okay.
This, obviously, the community college is in the area for the service as an existing use. It would be studied for its capacity needs and what could be connected. So we would potentially factor that into a calculation of a sewer study for a future connection. But there's a lot of steps in front of that, meaning that we would need to get the Enabling Act adjusted, be able to fit it into the scope of those things. So you're right, it is a longer term look at the potential of the valley, but the intention is not to change the characteristics of the uses. It's more to utilize the uses that are identified within the strategic plan and within the zoning. Those uses, they range from simple to very high, and some of them are restricted, say a resort hotel, which is allowed within the zoning. The placement of a resort hotel in the strategic plan area would be rather difficult without some form of connection, either through a sewer connection or an alternative solution like a treatment plant type situation.
Yeah.
Right. The on-site solution is not viable. The alternative solution would be dependent upon the applicant proposing the project. The sewer connection would be if there's capacity and availability. So the intent of the study is not to go and look at each parcel and say, hey, every one of these is going to connect, and how much load is that? The intention is more to really take a right-sized look at sort of where the concentration is and where the opportunities are for a little bit more of an intensification based on the current zoning, and study those areas.
Okay.
Option 3 was sort of at the end in the discussion, is that while we're taking a look at this, if you want to look at what capacity would be in the future, and the district could potentially take that in, throw a number at it. That's a much more of a WAG at an evaluation, and it becomes more specific in the 2003 area, a little less defined, but sort of identified in option 2, and then 3 is just broader. Does that help?
Yes, just because I'm also thinking about the fact that with global warming, I mean, they're already talking about now, you know, where's Arizona going to get its funding, or that's water, because we didn't have the snowpack. So down the road, that might also be happening with us. So I'm just wondering, are we kind of also looking at that too, in terms of, are we going to be able to take whatever our sewer water remains are and enhance it so we can use it again, whatever that verbiage is? Yeah, okay. I just, whatever it is that we do, I want to be able to leave something for the people who come after us saying, hey, you guys did take the chance to look at this and it allowed us to do this. That's all. I just don't want to hamper ourselves.
Yeah, we're also going to be looking at, you know, ultimately, as you mentioned about sea level rise and about, you know, higher groundwater levels, and as those impact those certain areas, then it reduces it actually impacts the potential for having on-site septic and uses. And so you have to look at, well, is there a capacity there in the treatment system or in some other kind of need to be able to meet what could be a potential growth area for you know, for the use of, based on the strategic plan. But then also keep in mind that there could be limitations on how you can handle septic on site.
Yeah, because they were talking about with the Central Valley, you know, the salt that's incurred, you know, all of that kind of stuff, because everything that you've been working on to make sure that we have our aquifers taken care of, I would, you know, so I trust you guys on where we're going. I'm not sure which option I want at this stage in the game. I just want to make sure that whatever it is that we're doing, whatever we extract out is something that we can down the road look at and say, well, we were thinking this, we were thinking that, and we don't want to hamper ourselves. I'm not sure if I'm making sense because I'm not sure I get everything we're doing, but that was why I wanted to share what I thought it was going to be.
You know, from a wastewater reuse potential, I'm sure the district has some things that they're currently doing more on a municipal scale, or there's opportunities to do those type of things. In the alternative treatment plants that the Supervisor Williams brought forward and showed, there are potentials for wastewater reuse through those. Now, there's regulations that are associated with that, but from the standpoint of global warming and groundwater recharge and those things, those are elements of the study that would be identified once you have a load of water or load of waste. What is the outcome from that? How much of it goes into treatment? How much of that potentially could be reused? How much of it goes to a different location? And so, yes, those are elements that would be considered as part of a study.
Okay, good.
On a topical level, not
yeah,
right.
Just something. It's like, you know, when you're doing your calculus, right? You know, I don't need to have every correct answer. It's okay.
I was told there'd be no math. Anyway, yes.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, I'm not opposed to any of it. I just don't want to limit ourselves of what it is that we can just be looking at, because you get the proper data, then that allows you to make choices. It allows you to have choices. So, okay.
Sure.
All right, I'll go to Supervisor Matchberg.
All right, I decided to not wait on public comment.
Sorry.
That's okay. So, I absolutely hear everything you have said, and I appreciate the work that you have done with the stakeholders and everything else, Supervisor, in that region over there. And I respect their opinions on it. I would be more inclined myself to look at option 2, but with the caveat that the language that was asked for by the Vintners Association be considered, that we would put that in, stating that we don't intend to change anything with regard, which staff has just basically stated, that we don't intend to change anything with regard to the strategic plan or the land uses that are already considered for that area. And that was what they said in their letter, and I can absolutely respect that. The reason that I bring up option 2 is because we as a county, as you pointed out, sir, are currently engaged in an I-80 corridor study that looks at the feasibility and viability of the development of some type of economic development that fits within those parameters at those sites along the freeway and within the appropriate land uses there. And in order to provide that, when this board has already stated, I don't even know how many times up here, that we want some economic development, we need to move forward with that, we need to look at ways to do that. I would like to at least have a study that says, this is what it costs for us to run a piece of pipe along I-80, right? So that we know at least how much pipe, how deep the pipe's got to be, and how big around the pipe's got to be, right? And for Suisun Sewer District to be able to know that in order to make those hookups happen, right? Fairfield Suisun, I'm sorry, I apologize. Fairfield Suisun Sewer District to know. I think that, again, it's important to maintain the integrity of that valley and of the jewel that it is. But we are also looking at this through the SALT grant and other studies that the county has moving forward. We as a board have already committed to all those things. This is just one more element of this. As was stated earlier, the general plan and the Suisun, help me out here. Strategic plan, both feed into this study that would be done by the Suisun not the irrigation district, the Fairfield Suisun Sewer District. And then the study itself is used to re-inform backward into the general plan, right? So the first piece is those two elements feeding into this plan and the study as to what has the potential to go there based on zoning and all of those things, all those elements of those two plans. And then once that's done and the study's completed, that study feeds back into the general plan, which the public and the stakeholders and everybody else will have input into as to how that's zoned and developed into the future based on the new general plan that we're working on in 2028. So I think that those two things work in tandem, and that's why I would like to offer up a friendly amendment to option 2.
Okay, I appreciate everyone's comments. And again, my stakeholders aren't opposed to option 2. That wasn't issue. I pushed for option 1 because I thought it would be better suited. However, if this board is leaning, what it sounds like it's doing, is leaning toward option 2, then one of the concerns that was brought up was that it was not determined or defined what those economic development projects would be. When I know at this current moment we don't know.
Yeah, we have no way to know.
What that is. However, they did highly express that we should really look at tying it closer to the Suisun Valley Strategic Plan, which has been in place since 2008. Granted, I understand that we're doing these corridor studies as well. I get that. My only hesitation, especially in that particular area, is that we've already, and I and Supervisor Brown had to go to the city of Fairfield to state, you know, we oppose them trying to annex those areas near that I-80, which included going up into, you know, it helped connect past the Budweiser, which I know is the area that they have been looking at. So I just was trying to make sure that we preserve at all costs what we're trying to do as a county and not put ourselves in a situation where we'll be hard pressed to say why we oppose the annexation when they're providing us the sewer. So I just need us to think about that as we move forward. That was really my concern on that, because we worked so hard to try to minimize that option. So, and I represent Fairfield Zoom, right? But I'm also now on this board of supervisors. So I'm thinking as a supervisor on how the decisions we make today impact what can happen down the road for future boards and future councils that will be elected, because we won't be here forever. However, I can agree to option 2 as long as we also take into account that we include making sure that it is not going to override the Sassoon Valley Strategic Plan, and it doesn't extend beyond and past the framework. And I do not want to hold up Wood Creek 60 anymore. As much as possible, I hope that the message is loud and clear to the sewer district that should already be included, the Rockville Corners, in their feasibility study. It should not have been bifurcated out or withheld, but please make sure it's incorporated. And that's where I stand on this, so I will agree to option 2 with those caveats added. If you can put that in that amended motion.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I'll second that.
The inclusion of the option 2 area and the ability for us to work with the district if it's looked like that the connections are a feasibility and what we would want to do, having those connections available to those areas in the strategic plan would help bolster the county's argument to the city is that we don't need your annexation. We have the ability to build this area out to the strategic plan definition, and we have an active working partner with the district to provide those services. So the necessity for the city to annex them in order to get those services is sort of negated by the fact that we're proactively working to make the study show that area.
And so how do we secure that language? Because the language is what's going to be imperative.
Sure. So the study won't define that as the methodology of the study. The study would identify the needs, the capacities, and the ability. It would also identify the framework that the district would work through to get the legislative fixes that would allow for those connections. So we would identify as part of the study the upgrades and the capacities needed, the uses that would the areas that would be able to connect to it so that they could adjust their service boundary, and would also outline what they would need to do from a legislative standpoint to provide those services. And once they are enable those that area through their enabling act, then LAFCO would honor those connections, those parcels to be able to be served.
So can I ask real quick so that it brings it down to my level?
That sounds confusing to me. Okay, go ahead.
So what you're saying is that we'd be having a partnership with the Fairfield-Sassoon Sewer District, which would literally be a defense against annexation by the city, because we could say, hey, we already got a good partner. We got Fairfield-Sassoon Sewer District. We don't need you, City of Fairfield.
But they are.
They're only a part of the Fairfield-Sassoon Sewer
They
District.
have the largest majority of votes.
But it's a separate entity, just like Solano County Water Agency.
I used to serve on that board. I know how it flows.
I get it. But what I'm saying is the city of Fairfield then doesn't have a reason to annex because we already have a provider as a county, which we can say, we got a provider already. We don't need you, city of Fairfield, and so keep your hands off.
Okay.
The limitation,
Right?
I wouldn't go so far as to call it a defense. That would not be the strategy that we're trying to do. But the limitations on economic development that we're seeing in the unincorporated areas to do sort of broader economic development opportunities are very limited from our discussions with LAFCO on the provision of municipal services. LAFCO has made it very clear that municipal services connections in the unincorporated area are not allowed per any of the structure, not allowed by Measure T, not allowed by the sort of the organizations that they have to do those services. In discussions with them with regards to the sewer district, expanding their enabling act like we did in 2003 to provide those services is a way to allow LAFCO to approve those connections because there is an enabling act that allows for those connections in the unincorporated area. It's a step that we would go through to identify those areas. The byproduct of those is that if we can show that there's a connection available in the unincorporated area for those parcels, it makes less of an argument that the city needs to annex those areas in order to provide those services. So it's more of just a definition of what that area is, the importance of the county for it, and the ability for the county to serve that area in the way that the county feels that it needs to serve it.
Got it.
Does that help?
So I have another question too, real fast. We're not building anything, aren't we just like laying out a drawing and seeing what matches up? 'cause we're not building this yet.
It would identify quantities. We would work with the district on the scope of it, but
Yeah.
it would be identifying capacities that they would look to see could be incorporated into their systems.
Okay, that's what I thought.
We're not talking about what we're building right now today. This is talking about the future. And so you have to look beyond this moment, and you have to look further 10, 20, 30 years when we're old and no longer on this board. We have to think down the road. And down the road, there is possibilities that when we no longer have these resource management employees or this council or the CAO, that those coming after us can make, based off of what we choose to study, gives them a roadmap of what they could do or alter. Now, I get that is what we're looking at to see how we can be better, and improve our economic development. I don't have a problem with economic development. What I want is smart economic development and making sure that we stay in alignment with the strategic plan that we approved already, and with that, making sure that this plan does not put them in any type of jeopardy down the road, because it's broad, right? The language is broad, so it does indicate that any future projects, we don't know what that could be. That could be warehouses, that could be storage units, it could be anything. And so I just want to make sure that when we thinking this through, that we take into account not just at this instant, this moment, but the decisions that we make. How is this going to affect that area in the long term? And are we putting them in a situation that they could, in time, be overrode with development that was not intended for that particular area? That's my concern. I wanted to be truly focused on what the plan has been and what we have agreed that we want to improve in that area without putting them at risk. That's my concern. I can tell you now, a lot of developments going in right now in my district is not going to include sewer. It's just not. They're putting projects together and looking at the package plants and looking at other ways that's environmentally friendly, and yet continue to open up opportunities for development. So development hasn't stopped there. It continues to flow and prosper. I just want to make sure that when we do option 2, that we're very clear that we're not giving it opportunities to go beyond the scope that we have outlined for that area.
Not a problem.
So Cassandra.
Can we repeat the motion that's been seconded already because I heard you agree with Supervisor Mashburn around option 2 with specific language around the current
maintaining
and planned economic.
Maintaining the strategic plan in its entirety and creating a scope for the study.
Sorry, the Sassoon strategic plan or
Yeah.
The Sassoon Valley
Okay,
strategic plan.
thank you.
Yeah, for the Sassoon Valley strategic plan, and creating a scope for the study that appropriately directs the study and staff and future staff with regard to the preservation of those things. Right?
Yes, you understand what we're saying? Okay. All right. I know I went on and on, but
I'm looking at council over here because she's the one who's going to drop the hammer on me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, we've got the notes. I think we understand.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure we had clear, I want to make sure I had clear language on what was being discussed in this moment as I'm reading the options, but I hear you. Thank you for the clarification.
Just want to make sure we take public comment before there's a vote. Yeah.
So before we vote, we have something on the table, so let's go to public comments.
I do not have any cards for this item. I do have one caller. Yes, I have one caller raising their hand. Caller with phone number ending in 80. Please press *6 to unmute yourself and state your name if you wish. Caller with phone number ending in 80. Please press *6 to unmute yourself and state your name if you wish.
Good afternoon, board. This is Don Hofer with Shea Homes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I think I know many of you, or we've had an opportunity to chat from time to time, but as you know, as many of you might know, we're working with the landowner on the Wood Creek 60 project. This is a project that has been, in the mix, I'll say, for many, many, many years. Part of your general plan, and we've submitted, documentation to try to advance the project. Going back now about 4 years, we've been trying to advance the project. So I want to really thank Supervisor Williams and Mashburn for your comments about, trying to allow the county's general plan to advance while also studying what might be for the strategic plan for the valley. I think my point today is really just to say, hey, please don't let perfection get in the way of progress at this point. We're poised and, of course, ready to advance the supply housing and what continues to be a housing crisis for California. And we think this solution is actually, relatively simplistic in a sense, while still addressing FSSD's concerns about what is the area to be served. I appreciate what looks like support for option number 2, which feels to us like maybe an option that doesn't get too far afoot in terms of trying to analyze everything under the sun and put some practicality behind trying to advance things in a way that allows both projects and improvements in the area that are poised to move now, as well as the future of the strategic plan. So thank you for that. We support that in a big way. We know that there are stakeholders that have concerns, which we've had many meetings now to address, and I think we can advance this now, hopefully, in a way that really works for everyone. So thank you for your consideration today. We're available if you have any questions, and that's it. Thank you.
Are there anybody else for public comment?
Callers on the line, if you wish to speak on agenda item number 23, please press *3 to raise your hand. Callers on the line, if you wish to speak on agenda item number 23, please press *3 to raise your hand. And I do not have anyone else raising their hands.
Okay, so it's been, well, go ahead. Okay, that's fine. Oh, okay. You guys keep moving your names around. No, you're fine.
Yeah, we just keep swapping back and forth. So I just want to, and Supervisor Williams already said this, but I just want to thank staff. There's been that's a monumental lift for staff to get us to where we are today. I specifically want to thank you, James, because you owned it. You have done it, and you were personally invested in it, and I'm very appreciative of that. I mean, you're a salaried employee. You're not getting overtime to go out and go do all these things, and so when you go out and do that, it's appreciated. I just want to make sure you know that, right, and give you that shout out up here. Now I'm ready to do a vote. Yeah.
So ordered by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys are great.
Virtual 5. All right, one more.
Okay, we're almost done, guys. All right, to the clerk of the board, if you could read the title for agenda item number 25, please. think that's where I'm supposed to be.
You're on 24, ma'am.
I'm on 20. Oh, you know what? I even wrote myself a note. There we go. Sorry, I went too far. Okay, item number 24. That's right, because we have to deal with the election.
Adopt a resolution calling an election requesting consolidation with the November 3rd, 2026 statewide general election and requesting election services from the Registrar of Voters to submit to county voters a proposed ordinance amending Article 12 of Chapter 11 of the Solano County Code to modernize and expand the county's business license tax structure for commercial energy production, resource extraction facilities, and data centers, and increase business license tax rates. There is a 4/5 vote required. Delegate authority to the Registrar of Voters, County Administrator, and County Council to take all actions necessary to place the measure on the November 3rd, 2026 ballot.
Good afternoon.
You have traveled so far.
Yes, we've spanned time zones. With me today are Misty Caltrider again and JT Lee, who is a planner in the department who's put a lot of work into this. So we're going to kick it off with the presentation. So on June 23rd, the board directed us to come back today with a resolution to place the business license tax measure on the November 3rd ballot. Maintain one ballot measure, not to bifurcate it, and then evaluate alternative methodologies for taxing data centers. So today we're going to focus on the data centers. I think we've landed pretty well with the other elements. Those will be the ones that we would bring forward for the initiative. Whatever we discuss today will be added or not added, depending on how we come out through the data center discussion. Ooh, a lot of stuff on here. So,
Do you need some water? Are you
no, I think I'm
okay?
okay.
All right.
I'll make it.
Okay.
If I'm not, I'll pass it over to JT and let him cut his teeth.
Maybe JT needs the water first.
All right. So, at the June 23rd board meeting, there were some questions and some responses that we wanted to sort of address as we get through the process. One of the ones brought forward was, taxing data centers based on air rights. We did some research on that. It's not a common methodology. We couldn't find any examples of them. And typically, the use of air rights or taxing of air rights are tied to more urban type development projects. And so, for the purposes of this, we didn't add it to this, but we did take a look at it. So hopefully that helps. And if you have other questions on it, we'd be glad to answer those. For natural gas turbines and behind-the-meter BESS supporting data centers. So we looked at the ancillary needs of those to do data centers, and the recommendation is that to look at those and keep them included in the square footage based upon the square footage of the total structure. So you would add those to the data center. You wouldn't just, the business license tax wouldn't just cover the data center portion itself that holds the racks and all the things. It also include any of the support functions. Correct. Well. The built, really the built, not the acreage that they sit upon, but the built area that they utilized in order to provision data centers. Okay. We took a look at once again, looked at the utility user tax. It's based on tax utility usage collected by the provider. They typically range, like we said last time, between 2 and 7.5%. We use these as a benchmark in evaluating the reasonable business license tax, but we didn't think of bringing forward because that's its own ballot initiative. So we utilize it as a basis to look at a type and to try to come up with a number that we feel is defensible. We also looked at a percent of gross utility receipts comparison because that when we did go out to look at other jurisdictions dealing with data centers, and there weren't a lot, and there are not really any counties that we saw that were doing anything with regards to it, we did find the city of Santa Clara, and they have a utility-based comparison. It's not a UUT because they have their own utility service as part of Santa Clara, and so they use a percent of utility receipts. For a sample project of a 77 megawatt, which is equivalent to about a 400,000 square foot data center, they generate about $4 million through the gross receipts. And so that's somewhat comparable to what we've seen in UUTs at about a 5% level. For us, we've upped it from where we were at about $1 and some change to $5, and that would get us to about $2 million for a similar facility. It's not exactly the same as what we've seen either through a UUT or through this percent of utility receipts, but it's an effective methodology to generate revenue within the county, and it leaves us the flexibility that in the future, on future ballots, we could come back with a UUT if we decided to. Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
Really quick, James, because in this part of the presentation, last time we had this presentation, there was some there's some stuff going on out in internet land and in the press and other places about how the Board of Supervisors in Solano County were all excited because they were going to make some money. I just want to make it really clear right from the get, right here at this point, because this is the slide that's going to make everybody say that the reason that we're asking, that I would be supportive of this and have asked for this, is because if, as we have seen with the best plants that we just spoke about earlier today, right? The state, in all their infinite wisdom, decides to come down here and cram data centers down our throat, right? If there are developers somewhere within the county who are going to try and entitle and put data centers out in the county, I want to make sure it's as painful as possible for them to do that. I want to make sure that it is as expensive as possible for them to do that. And I want to make sure that if they're going to pillage the county's resources, as they've done with water and power and all the rest of those things, that there is at least some minuscule benefit that comes back to our residents, right, to help offset and mitigate all the damage that those plants do to our economy and to our air and to all of those things. So consider this a backstop in case, and I use that word, in case the state decides to try and do something that takes the authority away from us and they cram these things down our throat so that our residents at least get something out of it. That's the reason that this piece is in this tax request, by my perspective. I can't speak for the rest of the board.
Supervisor Williams?
Well, I thank Supervisor Mashburn for supporting my recommendation that we tax data centers. But nevertheless, I wanted to ask a question of what did you see with the UUTs? Because I just came back from NACO. I intentionally was part of a workshop that we spoke and discussed about data centers. And I'm going to just use West Virginia as an example. And I talked with the CAO about that too, CAO Goldberg. They were saying that their range should be no less than 3% for a UUT. So my question is, and I think I do know the answer, but I just want to confirm that the 5%, $5 per square foot, right? How does that equate in consideration of what you've seen in other UUTs? Are we like in the middle with them, or where are we when it comes to the
Sure.
tax?
Our look is we're in that range on the previous slide where we had 2 to 7.5% of a UUT. This would be within that range.
Okay.
Not exact. We don't have an exact calculation because it's the metrics aren't necessarily the same, but it would sit within that 2 to 7.5% range, comparable. Does that help?
Yes, I just want to make sure we're not at 2.
Okay. No.
2, like 3 or more. 3 or more, because it does, as Supervisor Mashburn has indicated, that it does drain a lot of resources. And I just want to encourage you all to, the study on this, especially, I think it's called Hood, Texas. West Virginia has 250 data centers, and their state stripped them of their ability to have local control. I pray not. But it did happen there.
And we've seen some legislation out there as well to force data centers to produce their own energy. Now that's a response to not impacting the grid itself, but then if they're generating their own energy, then they're not paying to a UUT necessarily. So the business license tax is defensible for us from the standpoint it's easier for us to administer, gives us some control over their placement and how they're done, and it does at least provide that understanding that there will be a necessity to pay for service within the county.
If this measure is passed, will something come back for us to start thinking about noise, pollution, because they generate a lot of sound, and it's detrimental to, constituents, our residents' well-being and mental health. It drives people crazy, pretty much so.
With
Would
or
that
with-
come later?
Well, with or without this tax measure, if a data center project did come, it would have to go through the CEQA process. We'd be able to comment on all those things: noise, sound, impacts, energy usage, all those elements. So with or without the tax, we would still have that ability to work with them.
Oh.
And so, so yes, this would be one more element that we would utilize as we go through the process of working if one gets placed here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Only if the state doesn't take away their right, our right with regard to CEQA.
Sure.
Saying something about
We will
it.
still get to, hopefully we will still get to at least comment on the CEQA that they do prepare. So that would be the goal.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. Public comment?
Oh, let me see. I got a couple more slides, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. So we've sort of touched on this, but our recommendation is to existing business license structure that is established in the code provides us the ability to do this. The gross floor area is a simple, objective, and verifiable tax base that reflects the scale of data center operations, and it provides a reasonable contribution toward county programs and services while generating revenue in range with what a UT and percent of gross receipts would create. So our goal is to stay within that realm. The tax rate summary. So everything above the top there is what we originally brought forward, and we're not changing today. So the wind turbines, the commercial solar, the natural gas extraction, those values would stay the same. Those would be on the ballot for the November election. The data centers, we originally came in with a 12-cent per square foot gross floor area. We've upped that to $5 a square foot. The example project that we provided would be about $2 million for a 400,000 square foot facility. But the revenue, to approximate revenue, that's really based upon whatever the project comes in and goes from that standpoint. Okay. This is the proposed ballot language that we would recommend going forward, and our recommendation is to adopt the resolution and to delegate authority to the registrar of voters, the county administrator, and county council to take all actions necessary to place it on the November 3rd ballot. And with that, I turn it back over to you for any questions or comments. Sure.
Okay, that's where I was going to go with public comment, so, okay. So, do I have any public comment?
I do have cards, and I'm going to check online.
Oh, okay.
Callers on the line, if you wish to speak on agenda item number 24, please press star 3 to raise your hand. Callers on the line, if you wish to speak on agenda item number 24, please press star 3 to raise your hand. Okay, at this time, I do not have anyone raising their hands. First speaker would be, okay, I'm going to apologize in advance. Tim
Just spell.
Nakatoga? There we go.
I am not technically a resident of Solano County. I live on the border of American Canyon and Vallejo. So Vallejo's literally in my backyard. And I mean, this stuff still does affect me. I would urge everyone to vote no for this just because I do not believe it goes far enough in taxing these data centers. $5 per square foot is a big jump from the original proposition, which I heard was around 12 cents per square foot. But the point should be to, I think, prevent these from being built. Just over this past weekend, we had a pretty scary fire, like 50 yards from my house. It started in Vallejo and spread through the wetlands for, I don't know, must have been a couple hours. But, you know, this is sort of just becoming a regular thing, big outbreaks of fires and stuff, and it's a scary thing. You know, it could have been any one of my neighbors' houses on fire and then my house on fire. So, you know, our house is on fire. I don't think we should be pouring gasoline on it. And everything we've seen from data centers is that they're terrible for the communities that they exist in, and they, I mean, just economically, they're horrible for the people living nearby. But on an ecological sense too, they don't really serve any sort of purpose beyond just using potable drinking water and electricity that could otherwise be going towards people. Earlier, I heard a lot about people, this is sort of connected to the California Forever thing, but a lot of people were very concerned with the youth and young people. And I have serious doubts about that because, you know, there won't be much of anything to inherit if we keep, you know, building stuff like this. So, yeah, I urge you to vote no and to consider maybe, you know, why not make it 500%? Is it arbitrary, or, you know, why not charge $200 per square foot? Make it impossible for them to build. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Micah Scott.
Hi there. I'm a senator of, not senator. Hello, senator. Okay, sorry. My brain is a little fried because I've been sitting for like the same amount of time that you all have been sitting. So I'm sure you can empathize. I'm a resident of Vallejo. I live like literally like 3-minute walk from the fairgrounds where there was the idea of like floated where a data center might be built. So I'm sort of here as an extension of that to just also show my disapproval and of data centers. It seems, based on what you were saying earlier, Mitch, that it seems like a lot of us agree that like data centers would be a great detriment. And so I just wanted to parrot what Tim was saying, that the jump from 12 cents to $5 is a step in the right direction, but this should be as abrasive as possible, and and every single step of the way to fight data centers being built in Solano County should be taken. And so I would urge you all to vote no, just to have a more extreme pushback. I think that I think that if the worst case scenario were to happen and a data center would to be built, it would benefit the community to have it be taxed. But right now, $5 per square foot is such a wildly small percentage of the amount of revenue that it would be making in comparison to its gross total outcome. So just as much, and also I know that you're saying that the state could force us to do that. So I just wanted to encourage you all to, I guess, whatever power you have to stop any sort of development like that at any step of the process. I would just be worried about this this kind of being like a crack in the dam, as it were, as saying like, well, here is we're taxing data centers, but it's also like here's a protocol for if that were to happen, and that is again allowing. That's saying I think if should not be an option. It should be not at all. There should be an absolute referendum on data centers. I mean, the ecological impact, the economic impact is already something that we've all heard over and over and over. I love to brag to all my other Bay Area friends as a Vallejo resident that we have the best tap water, and I think it's true. We have like it's great. And Vallejo is also one of the few bastions of the Bay Area that is still affordable to live in, and so having a bunch of like Silicon Valley fingers in our community would just negatively impact every facet of life. Thank you very much. I concede my time.
Next speaker is Demi.
Good afternoon, supervisors. I'm here to also encourage you to be more aggressive here. I would actually say, given listening to the last conversation in the previous meeting, that there are a lot of unknowns. A moratorium might be a better option at this point, given the unknowns. I'm going to take a little bit of time and talk about, and I'm glad to hear this time we're talking more about the health impacts and the land impacts. But I'm going to just really quickly run through what we could expect with the hyperscale data center here. For hyperscale data centers, they emit a lot of heat. It could raise the temperature in the general vicinity up to 18 degrees Fahrenheit. 18. We've talked about the water and electricity use, but we haven't talked about the water pollution, the land pollution that we have seen back in the South, and the noise pollution. It actually causes hearing loss. It impacts heart health, and to Supervisor Williams' comment, it's psychologically impactful. This also will ruin our land. I was just listening to the goal setting for Vallejo, and one of the top 3 reasons people come here is because of the access to nature. So the bees will be gone. The aquifers will be sucked dry. The use of our ag land, gone. Livestock, impacted. If you don't care about any of that, let's go ahead and talk about the money. Data centers are extraction machines. These data center developers are backed by private equity. They look for unregulated markets in financially depressed areas, and they take advantage. You spoke of a possible $2 or $3 million business tax increase per hyperscale data center. It's not exactly a comparison, but we pull in $80.5 billion with a B in property taxes a year. $3 million is a fraction of that percentage. It has no substantial impact on our ability to run this place. If we put that type of work into getting more affordable housing units, we would actually be getting more than that $3 million. Also, when you put in a hyperscale data center, you know what you do to property values? They go down very significantly. So you're actually going to lose money. You may force a bunch of people that don't have a lot of money to go spend thousands of dollars to have their homes reassessed in order to have that depreciation, but it exists. Let's see. So they're also bad economic development partners. They rapidly build in response to federal tax breaks. They seek aquifer land. They can build things less harmfully without water, but that costs more, so they don't do it. And they don't keep their promises, and they will sue once they get their foot in the door. So my ask is the moratorium, and I want us to make Solano County so unattractive to data centers. When they're going down their easy pickings, we're not on the list. No diesel or gas use, and also something I haven't heard is decommission funds up front. That's something other places have started to do, so you have to show that you can remove the infrastructure from the land if you choose to walk away. Thank you.
Final speaker, Ruskal Kaya Yang.
Let's go.
Good afternoon, Chair and members. My name is Rusko Kayangyang. Chair and Supervisor Brown remembers me working in the Senate, but for the record, I'm just representing myself today. As a longtime resident of Vallejo, Solano County, and former elected official who proudly represented Vallejo, I rise today to speak on behalf of community members, constituents, on behalf of those who cannot speak for themselves concerning this proposed ballot measure. From reading your resolution, reading the proposed policy that will be before the voters, should you move forward with it, charging data centers $5 per square foot is a ripoff. Why not make a motion to amend the language to charge data centers per square foot $1 million or more? Or as I also stand with the previous speakers before me, why not make a